Yankees win it!
It is a gorgeous Saturday afternoon. It's probably the nicest spring training weather so far, and they're expecting a big crowd here at Tiger Town. As today, the Yes Network presents New York Yankees baseball. It's the New York Yankees against the Detroit Tigers in an exhibition game from Joker Marchant Stadium in Lakeland, Florida. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Yankees baseball. Along with Tino Martinez, I'm Michael Kay. It's been a very quiet spring training for the Yankees. There was really one big question mark: who was going to be the number 5 starter? It was a good battle. It came down to Jabba Chamberlain and Phil Hughes. Earlier this week, the Yankees chose Phil Hughes. Let's take a look at how their numbers match up. Phil Hughes, 16 innings, 14 hits, 7 runs. Jabba Chamberlain, a lot of his innings were in B games, which don't count towards the total. 6 2/3, 10 hits, and 12 runs. So it comes down to Phil Hughes being the number 5 starter. Earlier, we asked Joe Girardi why.
Phil's changeup really put it over the top for me, and we saw a lot of swings and misses in his last couple starts. And we had asked him that, you know, you really need to work on this in spring training. It's going to become an important pitch for you. And last year, when he went out of the rotation, he was basically fastball, curveball, and developed his cutter a little bit. We feel that he has 4 pitches now. We feel that he really developed locating his fastball last year in very meaningful innings, and I think that should help him as a starter.
Well, Phil Hughes, the number 5 starter. Jabba Chamberlain will pitch out of the bullpen this year. He's going to pitch out of the bullpen in today's game. You'll see him a little bit later on. Tino, your thoughts on this call?
Well, I like the call. Joe Girardi and his staff figured out that with Phil Hughes' change of the way he's been throwing it, with his 3 pitches now, he can go deeper into the games. And I felt like that the more innings he could throw, the better off the starting staff would be. And sending Jabba Chamberlain into the bullpen, where he's pretty comfortable at, and more aggressive with his 2 pitches, will be better off as a rotation.
Well, we'll see how it works. Obviously, time will tell if it was the right call. Let's take a look at the pitching matchup today, brought to you by Verizon Fios. A.J. Burnett will go for the New York Yankees. Isn't it the greatest spring? You can see by his ERA. Nate Robertson is going to go for the Tigers, 2-0, 3.68 ERA. A.J. Burnett's trying to tighten it up before he makes his first start. That's going to be in Boston against the Red Sox. Now today, he's going to be facing an old teammate, Johnny Damon of the Tigers. Lineup, first pitch, baseball, next on Yes.
When we built our first hybrid, YouTube didn't exist, and Facebook was still run out of a dorm room. When we built our first hybrid, more people had landlines than cell phones, and gas was $1.75 a gallon. And now, while other luxury car makers are building their first hybrids, Lexus hybrids have traveled 5.5 billion miles. And that's quite a head start.
For 500 years, Koreans have been practicing a unique heat therapy. This historical therapy was revealed by the 12 different types of saunas to release your daily fatigues and to restore yourself. Refresh your body and mind with the heat of a 500-year-old tradition. King Spa and Fitness.
Kyle!
What's up, Mom?
You went on a 29,000-mile joyride in my brand new BMW?
Mom, it's pre-owned.
But your father said it was new.
Yeah, new as in you didn't have it before.
Looks like new, performs like new. And with a warranty for up to 6 years or 100,000 miles, it's hard to believe it's pre-owned.
Wait till your father hears about this.
He knows all about it.
I'm a stronger person. I'm braver. I doubt myself less.
You get out there and you push yourself. The endurance that's taught me affected all the different aspects of my life.
My 50% or more on car insurance by your Tri-State Volkswagen dealers. Visit tristatevw.com. And by Capital One Bank. What's in your wallet? It is a picture-perfect type of day here in Lakeland, Florida. They are expecting the largest crowd in the history of this ballpark. How good a day is it? Let's look at the game time weather conditions presented by Toyota. It's 78 degrees here in Lakeland. There's not a cloud in the sky. And in the Bronx, New York, getting a little chilly after a beautiful week. Cold last night. It's 40 degrees today, but it is mostly sunny. Let's take a look at the Yankees lineup that will face the Tigers today. And today's Yankees lineup is presented by Lexus. Brett Gardner in left field will lead off. Nick Johnson, the first baseman, will bat second. Jorge Posada has been red hot this spring. He's going to catch. He'll hit third. Cleaning up and DHing is Marcus Timms. Curtis Granderson in center field will bat fifth. Batting sixth and playing right field is Randy Wynn. Ramiro Pena, the shortstop, will hit seventh. Kevin Russo's at second. He's going to hit eighth. And batting ninth and playing third base is Brandon Laird. Nate Robertson will get the start for the Tigers, battling for two positions that are open in the rotation. Three guys battling for those positions. Robertson, Dontrell Willis, and Jeremy Bonderman. 5 games, 2-0, 3.68, less than a hit per inning, and about a strikeout per inning, so he's had a very good spring.
This is a big start for Robertson, and this today could be the day they decide to pick him for one of the spots. Jim Leadon said if he goes well today, this could be the day they choose him. It's a big outing. It's all about location for him. He's got a fastball, slider, and a changeup. He's got to locate his fastball. He's got to work it in and out and not leave too many balls over the plate because he's not overpowering.
So he knows this is a big start for him because they have not made that call yet. They have 2 spots open in the rotation, as I mentioned, for 3 starters going for those 2 spots. Robertson's ready. Let's do it as the lefty deals. And Gardner shows bunt, takes the pitch inside, and we are underway in Lakeland.
One thing Jim Leadon mentioned before the game, though, about Robertson was he does have major league experience, and he doesn't look too deep into the numbers in spring training, so he does have a slight edge for one of the spots.
The 1-0, and there's a strike to Brett Gardner. Now, before the game, Joe Girardi spoke about really the last remaining battle for the Yankees, who's going to play center, who's going to play left, and he said he has not been thinking about it that much. At this point, it looks like Granderson's going to be the center fielder, and Gardner will probably open the season in left. Because one thing he said, Tino, he doesn't want to move Granderson back and forth as if Gardner starts one game and then it's Randy Wynn. Randy Wynn's more of a left fielder than a center fielder. So I think to keep Granderson comfortable, he's probably going to put him in center.
I think it's a great idea, and for Gardner as well. He goes out there and he knows he's playing left field every single day. He'll take the ground, he'll take his fly ball before the games. He's comfortable out there, and the more games you play at that position day in, day out, the more comfortable you get, and the better the communication becomes with the outfielders as well.
Brett Gardner goes down swing. Let's take a look at the Tigers' defensive alignment, brought to you by the Home Depot. Doing more on defense, Damon, Jackson, and Ordonez. Left to right in the outfield, it's Inge, Everett, Sizemore, and Cabrera third to first. Laird behind the plate, and Robertson is on the mound. Here's Nick Johnson. There's a strike. Good lineup for Robertson to face because he has the lefty Gardner, then followed by the lefty Johnson. Now, Johnson does not have much trouble with left-handed pitching, but Gardner's still a little bit of a work in progress. That's what Nick Johnson's done so far this spring. That on-base percentage indicative of what he can do. Pitch just misses him inside. Last year, second in the National League in on-base percentage to Albert Pujols, so pretty good company.
Very good. And one thing that Nick Johnson does very well against lefties is he lets the ball travel, get deep on them, and he uses the whole field. When left-handed hitters try to pull left-handed pitchers consistently, you find yourself getting in trouble. So he does a great job of spraying the ball around.
What does that mean, Tino? I've always heard that phrase, let the ball travel. Why don't more batters do it?
Well, against a left-handed pitcher, as a left-handed hitter, if you don't let the ball travel and you try to catch it out in front of home plate, you'll wind up rolling over to second base or first base a lot. So it's really key for a lefty to let the ball get deep into home plate and stay back on the ball and drive it to all fields.
That one is popped up on the first base side and makes the seats out of play. And Nick Johnson has always been like that. He kind of came up that way. And let's take a look at the swing that you're talking about.
Pretty good swing right there. Look, a little bit of a slider up and in there, and pretty good swing. Got the barrel of the bat on the ball just ahead a little bit. Foul ball, but Nick he's just got a great approach against both righties and lefties.
The 2-2. Swing and a miss. Good breaking ball, diving down and away. So 2 strikeouts for Robertson to start the game. He gets Gardner with the high fastball. Johnson with the ball tailing away.
It's a good pitch right here. Slider down away to Nick Johnson. Fastball in the pitch before. Kind of set this pitch up. Got him thinking in just a little bit and put Nick a little out front of this slider out here. Good pitch.
That's going to bring up Posada. Posada's had a good spring so far. He hit it 346. Great on-base percentage. He is 9 for his last 18. Off speed as Posada swings and misses.
Jorge swinging the bat well from both sides of the plate this spring, and I spoke to him before the game. He's ready for the season to start. He's seeing the ball well. He's comfortable on both sides of the plate, and he's ready to get going.
The 0-1. There's a strike. Home plate umpire is Jerry Lane, the veteran, making the call. So Robertson coming out and throwing strikes. And the 0-2. Foul back. A lot of Yankee fans in the crowd with the hip hip Jorge chant. And as I mentioned, this is expected to be the largest crowd in the history of this ballpark, which opened up in 1966, so 44 years. And the combination of a Saturday, a gorgeous weather day, and the Yankees in town, and this place is absolutely jammed. And the 0-2. Driven out into left center field, giving chase. Austin Jackson, he can't get there. It's past him, and it goes all the way to the wall. Posada will jog into second with a 2-out double.
Good swing by Jorge right here. These little slider down and in, stays back on it well, and just gets a bit right through the ball. Pretty good jump on the outfield right here. The ball just carries away from Austin Jackson right here. Nothing you can do with that there. Just a good route he took. Just a great hit by Jorge.
So Posada's on second with 2 outs, and that's going to bring up Marcus Thames. Now Thames has not had a great spring, hitting just 114, trying to make the team as a non-roster player. Now you would assume that Thames has a leg up on being on the team because the Yankees sent Jamie Hoffman back to the Dodgers. He was a Rule 5 draft pick, and the Dodgers took him back. But Brian Cashman, the Yankee GM, said, it could be Thames, but other people are going to be released toward the end of spring training. We'll look at everything available to us. Thames has not had a very good spring at all. But his strength for the Yankees would be coming off the bench against a left-handed pitcher. And this is what he's done in his last 4 seasons, all with the Tigers. He's got power. See, in 2008, he hit 25 home runs and 26 in 2006. Never a high average hitter, but he can hit the ball out of the park.
We talked about what a big outing this is for Nate Robertson today. It could be a big outing for Marcus Thames as well. He gets a chance to face a lefty here, maybe 2 at-bats at least off of him. He can do some damage today and have some good at-bats that will help solidify his spot towards the end of spring here.
Robertson works from the stretch and checks Posada at second. Nice block there by Laird. Yankees will carry the 2 extra outfielders, and in all likelihood it's going to be Randy Wynn and Marcus Thames. There are very questions on this team now that the number 5 spot in the rotation has been settled. Some bullpen questions, who's going to go, who's going to be sent down. But the general 25-man roster, I guess most people could guess at it and get it right. Will they carry another lefty other than Marte? That's something that they have to decide as well.
And if I'm Marcus Thames, I want to have a good game. When I'm facing a left-handed pitcher, I want to have some good at-bats. I want to, drive the ball, hit it hard somewhere, and at least show the staff that I know I'm having a bad spring, but I'm coming around and I'm hitting the ball hard.
That one's in the dirt. It gets past Laird, so Thames is going to walk, and Posada moves to third. So it'll be a walk and a wild pitch. So 2 quick outs for Robertson, and now 2 batters on, first and third. Curtis Granderson gets a warm hand from the crowd here at Joker Marchand Stadium. Traded to the Yankees during the offseason. He's had a good spring trying to acclimate himself to the Yankee clubhouse, meeting new people, knowing what to do, knowing the responsibilities, but he's yet to hit a home run. He had 30 last year for the Tigers in half of his game at spacious Comerica Park. Now this has been a question as well for Granderson. Is he going to be able to hit lefties enough to put up decent numbers? Last year he really struggled, Tino.
I think he will. Hitting coach Kevin Long has really worked with them all spring about staying in there longer, like we talked about Nick Johnson, keeping that front shoulder, letting the ball get a little deeper, and using the whole field. But as hitting coach Kevin Long said, it's a work in progress. It's going to take a little time. It's not going to happen in the first 2 weeks of the season, but he's hoping over the course of the year, maybe halfway through the year, he gets comfortable and starts really driving the ball off lefties as well.
Only 2 of his 30 home runs from the left side, a 183 batting average last year. I wonder, though, Tino, about letting the ball travel more toward him as he tries to hit lefties better. Will that rob him of some of his power then? Although he did only hit 2 home runs against lefties.
I don't think so. I think it'll definitely help his average go up a little bit. And I talked to him about it one day in the batting cage. Just use the whole field. There's so many hits over there to left field, and not just left center, down the left field line. And that's just all about letting the ball get a little deeper, staying behind it, and just putting good swings on the ball and not trying to hit balls out of the ballpark every single time.
The 2-1. And there it is, a base hit against the left-hander. Ripped it right down the right field line. Scoring easily is Posada. Marcus Timms goes to third. Granderson's at second with an RBI double. The Yankees are on the board. They lead 1-0. And that's a big hit for him, Tino, against the left-hander.
That is a big hit. A left-handed pitcher, 2 outs in a key situation right here early in the game. He let this fastball middle in right here, and he stays closed all the way, lets the ball get on him, and comes out with a good aggressive swing there. And good swing right there. If you're out front or you're opening up, you hit that ball foul usually. But that's a fastball in. He kept his hands back and put a really good swing on it.
Kevin Longo works so hard with these hitters. Obviously has to like that. Marking it up as a note. And he's going to accentuate the positive when he talks with Granderson. Pitch to Randy Wynn is low. 24 pitches for Robertson so far, so he's getting his work in here in the first inning. Looked like he was coasting after striking out Gardner and Johnson, but a double by Posada, a walk to Timms, and then the double by Granderson. The Yankees have a 1-0 lead. Popped up. Cabrera in foul territory. It's a windy day, and he'll put it away for the final out of the inning. The Yankees get a run on 2 hits, no errors, and 2 men left. It's the Yankees 1, and the Detroit Tigers coming to bat. And when you've got the team made, you don't really worry about it as long as you're healthy. And A.J. Burnett on the mound taking his tosses for the Yankees. Let's take a look at the Yankees, or the Tigers starting lineup that A.J. is going to face, and it's presented by our good friends at BMW. Austin Jackson in center field is going to lead off. The former Yankee, Johnny Damon, in left field will bat second. Good spring for him so far. Maglio Ordonez in right field hits third. Cleaning up and playing first base, Miguel Cabrera. Carlos Guillen, the DH, will hit fifth. Batting sixth and playing third base, Brandon Inge. Gerald Laird is going to catch. He'll bat seventh. Batting eighth and playing second base, Scott Sizemore. And Adam Everett, the shortstop, will bat ninth. Let's take a look at what A.J. Burnett has done so far this spring. A bloated ERA of 9 even, 8 innings, 14 hits. He's walked 8. Struck out 6. He's allowed 1 home run. He's on 1 in 3 starts.
He's got electric stuff, and one of the keys for him is to attack the hitters, get ahead of the count early. When he falls behind, he tends to throw that fastball up in the zone just to get it over, and that's where he gets hurt. His curveball is key. He's got to throw it for strikes and keep the ball down. If he works his fastball down in the zone, he'll have a lot more success and won't have to worry about hanging curveballs and fastballs up.
And the first batter he's going to face is Austin Jackson. Came over to the Tigers in the Granderson deal. Jackson, a longtime Yankee prospect in their system, takes a pitch high, and he's having a very, very good spring training. 358. He's tied for third in the Grapefruit League with 19 hits. Scored 12 runs. He has 31 total bases. And I saw you talking with Jim Leland, the manager of the Tigers, Tino, and he is very high on Austin Jackson.
Jim Leland loves him. He was really surprised at how selective he's been. I think he struck out a lot of times last year in AAA, over 100 times. And Jim was talking about how selective he's been all spring. He's taking his walks, and he's having good at-bats every single day.
The 1-1. Rounded up the middle. Kevin Russo. And there's one away. Take a look at the Yankees' defensive alignment, brought to you by the Home Depot, doing more on defense, and this is what the Yankees hope to do on defense today. Gardner, Granderson, and Wynn left to right in the outfield. You've got Laird, Pena, Russo, and Johnson, who made 124 starts at first last year in the National League. And Posada's behind the plate. Burnett is on the mound. There's Johnny Damon. Johnny Damon signed with the Tigers late in the offseason, but has acclimated himself well. Jim Leland will put him in the number 2 hole in the lineup, and Austin Jackson is going to be the starting center fielder and the leadoff batter for the Tigers. So a very Yankee feel at the top of their order. The 0-1. Chopped toward third. Laird. Beautiful backhanded scoop by Nick Johnson for the second out.
play right here by Nick Johnson. Brandon Laird comes, attacks the ball, just kind of like eases it over there, kind of throws it in the dirt. Nick Johnson picks that ball great. It's a nice job by Nick. We really hadn't played a whole lot of games out there this spring, but he's a very good defensive player.
Honestly, Tino, first basemen love to make that scoop. It makes them look cool.
You feel good about it. You do feel good about it, and then your infielders appreciate it. Save them an error, and your pitcher loves it too.
Here's Ordonez. Pitches high. Infielder ever come over and say thanks?
When the inning's over, yeah.
Yeah?
When the inning's over, they go, hey, thanks a lot. Appreciate you picking me up there. And the pitchers too. The pitchers love it because all of a sudden it's another out. You save the pitcher pitches and let him go a little deeper into the game if need be.
You ever cut the mustard and make it look harder than it really is?
No.
Remember Willie Montañez?
Yeah, he was a little flashy with his wrist, but no, I just wanted to catch it. Period. I don't care how stiff I looked or how unorthodox.
That one's driven to right field, giving Chase's win toward the line. And it's going to fall untouched.
Roger Clemens is one of the pitchers who really loved that. You pick a ball in the dirt, he almost has to come over there and give you a high five every time because he really appreciated good defense behind him, and when you pick him up and save him pitches and all that kind of stuff, you really, really appreciated that.
Count 2-1 on Maglio Ordonez. That one's driven to right field, deep, backing up his Wynn. And the Wynn took it, and Wynn stayed with it and makes a shoestring catch for the final out of the inning. The Wynn just knocked that down drastically, and Wynn redirects and makes the play. Yesterday with the New York media, they actually had a paintball tournament at a local paintball place in Tampa. There was Kevin Long and Mark Feinsand of the New York Daily News. Brian Cashman was there as well, and Billy Epler, his assistant, and it got hot and heavy. And game was on. They went at each other, and you'll see here, I think Sweeney Murdy gets shot right in the head with a paintball. There it is. There it goes down. So a good time was had by all. Ramiro Pena takes a strike. Now, you get hit with a paintball pellet, it leaves a welt.
It stings. I played with my son before in the past, and you got to wear heavy clothes so that if it does hit you in the arm or the thigh, you got a little bit of protection.
Now, Mark Feinsand of Daily News has this huge welt on his leg on a shot from Kevin Long. And then he was explaining to us that he got back at Long because Long tried to chase after him later on and pulled a hamstring.
I was a bad sport when I played with my son. They shot me, and I was supposed to be out. I'm taking a few extra shots just to get him in before I leave the grounds.
So Girardi with another bonding experience, had one earlier with his team and now bonding a little bit with the New York media. I was not in town yesterday to take part in that team. I think I would have been a lot like you.
I take the cheap shots when I have to.
Have to.
I'll wipe the paint off. I pretend it didn't hit me.
The 2-2. Pena fouls it back. Now, you've got some history here at Joker Marchand Stadium. When you were at the University of Tampa, you guys used to play here, right?
Yeah, Florida Southern University, which is here in Lakeland. This is their home field, and they were our rivals in our conference, and we played a lot of games here. It's a beautiful place to play. The field's in great shape, and you know, for us being in college, we're playing in a top minor league ballpark. It was a lot of fun.
The 2-2 just missed outside. It'll be Pena, Russo, and Laird here in the second inning against Nate Robertson. And the 3-2. Ground it sharply and grabbed there by Inge. And he gets Pena for the first out. That's a nice play by Brandon Inge, who is a highly respected player amongst major league people. Maybe the fans might not know he's that good, but major leaguers do.
Good swing here by Pena. Hard hit ball. Inge's left there. Good play. Gets up. Nice throw over to first.
And this guy's a former catcher, and he's made the transition to third very smoothly. He's one of the better third basemen in the American League.
He's one of those dirty guys. When the game's over, his uniform's dirty. He does it all and does whatever the manager asks.
Pitches in the dirt to Kevin Russo. Kevin's had a nice spring. Yankees 9-13 so far in the spring. The Tigers 14-9-1. count 1-1.
Obviously, Joe Girardi's not real concerned about the spring training record. He's just happy most of his guys so far are healthy, and going into the last week of spring here, that's what he's looking for.
Count 2-1. This is about the time when everybody's getting antsy to start the games.
I think so. Once you start swinging the bat well and you feel good on defense out there, you want the season to start. You only have 5, 6, 7 games left, and it starts to drag a little bit.
Grounded to short, Adam Everett. And there's 2 away.
Once you've had plenty of at-bats and you start feeling good, you see in the curveball, seeing the change-ups, and you start picking up the spin of the ball. You're not so much concerned as to how many hits you get and just how comfortable you feel at the plate.
Brandon Laird's at the plate. His brother Gerald Laird behind the plate. How cool that must be for 2 brothers. Here they are. You know, this isn't a major league game, but it's a major league spring training game going against each other.
That has to be pretty cool. And I asked Brandon before the game, when you're in a situation like this, and obviously it's only happened in spring training, does your brother tell you what pitch is coming? Do you talk the night before and maybe give you a little edge just so maybe have a good at bat? He says, no, he doesn't do that.
That one's squibbed the other way. Cabrera will take it himself in an easy 1-2-3 inning for Nate Robertson and the Tigers as the Yankees go down in order 1-2-3. And we go to the bottom of the 2nd inning with the Yankees leading 1-0. In Chicago to take on the Bulls. Complete coverage starts at 7:30 with the Nets pregame. Then Marv Albert and Mike Fratello have the courtside call. Nets Bulls later tonight at 7:30 only on Yes. The Nets beat the Pistons yesterday for their 9th win. So if they win one more game the rest of the way, they will not have the worst record in the history of the NBA, which is presently held by the 1973 Philadelphia 76ers. They were 9-73. We go to the bottom of the 2nd inning. And here's Cabrera. And there's a strike. I actually talked to Kevin Lockery yesterday, who was the player coach for the second half of that 76er team. And he said, we don't want the Nets to have a worse record. He said, that's the only reason people remember us now. We want to have that record.
That's a tough one, though. The Nets are going to want to get that 10 win, just to not be considered the worst team ever. And what a rough season. I'm sure those players are playing hard, do the best they can to ride out the rest of the year. But wow, it's got to be rough.
You got to watch tonight. Could be history in the making if they win their 10th game. Here's the 1-1. Hot shot up the middle of base hit. And A.J. Burnett staring at Miguel Cabrera as he heads to first.
He's got to be thankful he got out of the way of that one. Excellent swing right here by Miguel Cabrera. Looked like a little fastball or slider in the inner half of the plate. Kept his hands inside the ball and drove it right back up the middle. What makes Miguel Cabrera so good is he does use the whole field all the time. He's got great power to right center, left center, and he stays inside the ball well. Stays back on the ball, hands inside the ball a little bit in, and just didn't try to do too much with it. Just use the middle of the field, and good results.
Here's Carlos Guillen, and the pitch outside, 1-0. Tino, you've seen a lot of these games. You've been down here. You've been one of the Yankee coaches during spring training as well. Why is Burnett struggling as much as he is?
I just think he's up in the zone. When he's up in the zone and he falls behind, he gets in trouble because you can keyhole, sit on a certain pitch and get it. When he gets ahead, though, he's throwing strikes early. That breaking ball is hard to lay off. He gets a lot of strikeouts, a lot of swings and misses with it. But when he's behind the count, he just can't throw that pitch, and the guy's throwing the fastball.
And in all fairness, you have to look at these numbers with some skepticism, because there were certain games that A.J. pitched in spring training. He didn't throw his curveball. First 2 games he didn't throw his curveball. That's his best pitch. So if he takes that out of his arsenal because he was just working on locating the fastball, the numbers are going to be quite different. Guillen slaps it the other way. And Gardner will make the play on the warning track for the first out as Cabrera goes to first.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if you told me if I had to face A.J. Burnett and tell me he wasn't throw a curveball, I'd be very happy. Nice play here by Brett Gardner. Battling the sun. Wind's blowing out to the left a little bit. Good read right there. But when his curveball's on and he's throwing strikes, he's tough to hit. His stuff is electric. And I think he's going to have a great year this year. You can throw those spring training ERAs, all that stuff out the window when the season starts, but he's got to get ahead in the count and just attack the hitters.
Last year, first year with the Yankees, 13-9, 4.04, and he had 195 strikeouts. Here's Brandon Inge having a very good spring training for the Tigers. There's that breaking ball, no bite though. And then the count 1-0. AJ won a huge game for the Yankees in the World Series, a game they had to have the game 2. Then did not pitch well in game 5, where the Yankees had a chance to wrap it up, but they ended up winning it back at the stadium in game 6, their 27th World Championship.
He's one of those guys, when you see him on the list, you're facing him on Saturday, you're already thinking, wow, we got A.J. Burnett on Saturday. No matter what his numbers may be, you know he's got to throw a shutout.
That's what's interesting about him, Tino, because he has the sort of stuff that ball players talk about and go, that's electric. And you see what he did last year in the postseason. Some good, some bad. But the bottom line is his numbers should be better than they are because his stuff is better than his numbers. Does that make sense?
It does make sense, I guess, because he hurts himself, I think. He beats himself. He'll walk hitters. He'll fall behind in counts and give up, some hits that he shouldn't be giving up. But when he's on from first inning to the end, he's almost untouchable. So I think maybe he loses focus to hair sometimes during the games and just kind of gives up on pitches that throws right down the middle and tries to get back on track.
Here's a 3-1. And A.J. Burnett walks Brandon Inge. So the Tigers have runners on first and second with 1 out. So Jorge Posada has a word with A.J. Burnett, and here's Gerald Laird. Now this year, Posada is going to be working with Burnett. And last year during the postseason, Jose Molina caught A.J. Burnett. And A.J. Burnett has made it known over and over again to people, I never requested that I not pitch to Jorge. They actually get along, and Posada works hard to get on the same page as A.J. Burnett. They're going to need to be on the same page.
Yeah, I think these spring training games have helped. He's caught him just about every single time he started. And it's like everything else. You have to get into rhythm with each other. And Jorge has to know what he likes to throw 2 and 1 to certain hitters. And once they get in that flow of things where they don't have to shake off pitches and they get in a good rhythm, they'll start working well together. I don't think it's a Jose Molina type thing. I think Posada will do a great job with him this year.
There's the difference, the splits. Posada, when Burnett pitched to him, 5 and 5, 4.96, and the ERA 3.22 with the others. Runners go. A.J. Burnett never looked at them on a double steal. That's A.J. falling asleep there. He never looked at the runner, so Cabrera took off for third and Inge for second.
Good base running there by Cabrera. A.J. did not look at all. He just looked at home plate, got the sign, and Cabrera starts cheating, creeping off. Huge jump. Nice throw by Jorge to second, even though he had no chance. Great jump. He's got about 5, 6, 7 steps before A.J. even gets rid of the ball.
So second and third now with 1 out. Infield is back. Nice block there by Posada. Burnett pointed out something that Posada did that really impressed him this spring. Burnett was slated to pitch a night game at George M. Steinbrenner Field. And the game was delayed for a long time, and then it was finally rained out. And Posada's a veteran. Now, he doesn't have to stay back and catch the simulated game that A.J. Burnett had to throw under the stands, but he did and was there until 10 o'clock at night, and Burnett said, that really showed me something, that he wants to make this work so much that he stayed that late. Popped up. A run will not score. And the catch is made by Laird to retire his brother, Gerald Laird. So that's what you want there. A ground ball would have tied the game, so he got Laird to pop up to Laird.
Well, Jorge's a professional. Being the way he is, he wants to win another championship, and Jorge loves catching, and he doesn't want to have somebody else catch A.J. Burnett. So to stay behind and do what he did with A.J. Burnett, I mean, that's one thing that A.J. probably is thinking, he's doing this for me. I want him to catch me. I want to work with him and make this work. So great job by Jorge doing that, but he's just a professional.
Here's Scott Sizemore. Pitch outside. And also, Tino, Jorge going way back. It had to eat away at him that he wasn't behind the plate in Game 5 of the World Series when the Yankees could have clinched the World Series.
Well, absolutely. Jorge's got a lot of pride in catching and in his game, and he wants to be back there every single day, especially in the postseason. Joe Girardi decided to go with Jose Molina. It worked out perfectly, but yeah, sure. Jorge was a little frustrated and wants to be out there. I think anybody would be.
Count 2-0 on Sizemore. Runners at second and third still with 2 outs. Yankees up 1-0, bottom of the second inning on a gorgeous Saturday in Lakeland, Florida. And the count 3-0. First base is open. Adam Everett is on deck.
I'm sure Sizemore has a green light here. If he gets a good pitch, I'm sure he'll take a good rip at it.
He did. Count 3-1. Hitter's eyes light up when a 3-0 green light.
Absolutely, and that's what you want to do. You want to get a good pitch and take a good rip at it. You don't want to dribble one and play and make the manager look bad. When he gives you that green light, you want to tee off on something, and if you swing and miss, no big deal. You have another pitch coming.
Tees off on that one, driven deep to center field. Granderson back. A lot of room out there. He makes the play for the final out of the second inning. No runs a hit, no errors, and 2 men left on base. We play 2 here in Lakeland. It's 1-0 Yankees over the Tigers. Yankees lead 1-0 over the Tigers. Top of the order for the Yankees against Nate Robertson, third inning of work. And that one is chopped toward first. Cabrera will beat Gardner to the bag. 1 pitch and 1 out. A lot of people might say, well, who's this Joker Marchand? Well, I did some work on it, Tino. He was a member of the city council for many years here in Lakeland, helped get the complex built, so they named the stadium after him.
You know what his real name is? Any idea?
Riddler. I do not know. Do you know?
I don't. I just thought Joker. I wonder why they call him the Joker.
Good name, though.
Very good name.
If his name was Stan, I don't think they would have named the place after him. Stan Marchand. Joker works. There's a strike to Nick Johnson.
Nate Robertson doing a great job here, going after hitters, getting ahead in the count, and forcing the Yankees to swing the bats early.
Moves him off the plate.
It's one thing I'm sure hitting coach Kevin Long and Joe Girardi would tell Brett Gardner when he gets back to the dugout. First pitch, ground ball to first base as a leadoff hitter. You got to probably take more pitches and try to hit the ball more to the other side of the field and use your speed.
Count 3-1.
See, Nick Johnson kind of guy, 3-1, look for a certain pitch right here. If he doesn't get it, he's not going to swing. If it's a fastball away, he's looking fastball in. He's not afraid to take it and go into 3-2.
Soft ground ball, second base. Sizemore to Cabrera, 2 away. So 2 down, that's going to bring up Posada. Posada with a 2-out double in the first inning started a Yankee rally that got them their run. Posada now 10 hits in his last 19 at-bats. Lakeland, Florida is about, I'd say, 50 minutes away from George M. Steinbrenner Field. What is this? East on I-4?
East on I-4. This is basically Lakeland is between Tampa and Orlando, right in the middle.
And Tino and I will be going to Disney World a little bit later on, going on some of the rides before we head back.
Absolutely.
Tino's treating.
It's expensive to get in there.
Count 2-1. Good time had by Aldo. Your kids must love it. Right now, when you live close by, do you go a lot with the kids?
We go a couple times a year. We go to different families, and my kids love it. Actually, I love it too. I love going out there. It's a nice, relaxing weekend.
High fly ball, right field. Maglio Ordonez will make the play. And Robertson has retired 7 in a row. We go to the bottom of the third, 1-0 Yanks. 2000 championship teams, and they did things a very conservative way, very efficient. What did you think of the pies when it started? Because I'll tell you what, at the start, O'Neill didn't like it. What did you think?
I liked it.
Did
I really
you?
Did,
right
yeah.
from the start?
Right from the start, because I thought the last 5 or 6 years they weren't having fun anymore. The team was struggling. They couldn't advance in the playoffs. And when that started happening, and the Pies started with A.J. Burnett, it just seemed like everybody loosened up, and they just started having fun again playing the game. The performance on the field showed. And, the fans loved it. I think the players loved it, too, to see who's going to get the next Pie. And, I look forward to it as well.
Now, I have the major question for you, though, that I think only you could tell. Everett pops it up, and it's out of play. The one guy who never got hit with a pie was Derek. Now, Derek, to me, is this Yankee team's version of Joe DiMaggio. Could you have imagined Derek allowing himself to be hit with a pie?
Well, I don't think he had a walk-off hit.
He did not have a walk-off hit.
But
if he had,
I think he'd want to, because I don't think he'd want to feel any different than anybody else on the team. Although he's a captain and obviously he's well respected, as most of the players are, I think he'd want to be just like everybody else and get that pie in his face and enjoy it.
Really? I think he would have had to accept it too for that reason, but I don't think he would have liked it. I don't think Jorge liked it the first time it happened to him.
I just don't. I wouldn't want to be the guy who they say, well, why did he get a pie in the face?
Right.
Whether I'm the captain or not, I don't think Derek would have had a problem with it.
Popped up center field. Granderson. One away.
And if AJ would have said, hey guys, what do you think? Should I get Derek? Should I get Derek? And they're all going to say, yeah, go get him.
Now I wonder if they'll continue the pies this year, or was that just that one-year thing?
We'll see.
They had 15 walk-off wins last year.
It worked. Can't change it.
Here's Austin Jackson. Now, the one concern that some scouts had about Jackson was they didn't know if he was going to hit enough home runs to be a center fielder. And he never really hit that many in the minors. They like his skills, but they didn't know if it translated into power. Hot shot the other way. Russo. 2 away. Sometimes that comes later, though, as you mature and you're able to select pitches to drive.
Yeah, it'll come as he goes along. I think last spring training with the Yankees, he started coming along, hitting home runs in spring training and really finding himself at the big league level, and it carried over into the AAA season last year. But I think, obviously, here in Detroit, he's a leadoff hitter. He's playing in a spacious ballpark, and Jim Leyden, nobody expects him to hit home runs. They want him to get on base, steal bases, hit some doubles, and drive in some runs. And I think he's going to do that. And in time, I'm sure he can get to the 20 home run mark and be one of those type players, but he's got a lot of talent.
Here's Johnny Damon. Damon's offseason well documented. Wanted to come back to the Yankees. His agent, Scott Boras, spoke with Yankee GM Brian Cashman and said, listen, we're not taking a dime less than the $13 million that he made last year. And Brian thought that was a non-starter. Then they started negotiating with Nick Johnson, and then all of a sudden the negotiations started to happen where they said, well, we'll take 2 years at 20. That one's ripped to right field and deep, win back, and he's not going to get one hop up against the wall as Johnny Damon gets a double. I think the Yankees came back with 2 years at $14 million, but they said, we've already offered Nick Johnson a one-year deal.
This curveball down and in right here to Johnny Damon. A little bit up, got too much of the plate right there. Johnny Damon does a great job just dropping the head of the bat on it. Left-handed hitters like that pitch down, because all you have to do is drop the head on it, and it goes a long way. Good hit there by Johnny.
And that's what Johnny did the 4 years with the Yankees. And last year he got a world championship out of it. And the 24 home runs tied a career high. And he really fit in seamlessly in the number 2 spot in the lineup as Derek Jeter, and he flip-flopped spots in the lineup. Derek was the leadoff hitter, and Johnny Damon batted second, where he'll bat for the Tigers. Johnny ended up signing a one-year deal with Detroit. And you wonder how happy he's going to be. I think he really enjoyed his time with the Yankees. And I also think, Tino, that Yankee Stadium was really suited for him. It plays a little smaller to right center field, and he has a perfect stroke to take advantage of that.
I think so, too. I think they miscalculated the market a little bit, the demand for him out there, what it was. And he passed up a chance to play in Yankee Stadium again, the most beautiful ballpark and a great place for him to hit. So, but I think in Detroit, they had a good young team here, a good team, great manager. Jim Leyden is one of the few guys that I never got a chance to play for that I would love to have played for. So I think he'll make a good adjustment here and help these young guys.
Yeah, what was the deal today, Tino? Leland comes out, gives you a bear hug. Why does he like you so much?
Actually, when I was with the Cardinals, he was him and Tony La Russa are really good friends. He was out of baseball at that time, so Tony La Russa had him over in spring training as one of our guest coaches. And he spent the entire spring training there and treated us all like if he was the manager. He would talk to us every day and hang out in the dugout and just teach us. And he was a great guy to have around, and we all kept saying, man, why is this guy not in the game managing somewhere? Because he is so good and so much fun to have around. And I enjoyed my time in spring training with him that year, and obviously a couple years later he decided to come back to baseball, and here he is in Detroit.
Just that one year with the Rockies, won a world championship with the Marlins, won an American League pennant with the Tigers in '06, and he thinks he has a pretty good team this year. That one is ripped the other way, a base hit. Johnny Damon's going to round third. He's coming home. Here's the throw from Wynn. Here's the play at the plate. He's in there. Game is tied at 1. Good throw by Randy Wynn, made it close.
Good throw by Randy Wynn. Good base running by Johnny Damon. With 2 outs, you get that secondary lead and you're gone on contact. And I think that's what allowed him to score. Had it been 1 out or less, he may not have scored. Good hit here though. Stayed back on the ball. Matthew stays back on the ball. Doesn't try to do too much and shoots it to right. Good throw by Randy Wynn right here. But Johnny Damon just beats it by a hair. But he got a good jump off second base. As soon as contact was made, he was off and running.
Wow, that was pretty close, but he was in there. He just got in before the tag by Posada. Jerry Lane, the home plate umpire, made the right call. So an RBI for Ordonez, a good throw by Randy Wynn. And here is Miguel Cabrera. Miguel Cabrera is going to try to play his way back into the good graces of Tiger fans. Tigers were battling down to the last weekend and going into a big game against the Twins. He was involved in a domestic dispute where his blood alcohol level was well over the legal limit. And he came in to camp this year and talked openly about it and said, I've addressed these issues and I would never do anything like that again. And that's a tough black mark against a player when your team is battling to get into the playoffs, and it comes down to one of the last games of the weekend, and he played the game the day after it happened and he did not do well. But those numbers tell you what type of player Miguel Cabrera is. He's an outstanding hitter. Last year, another big season. There's a ground ball to third. Laird goes to second, and that'll do it. But the Tigers tie the score. 1 run, 2 hits, no errors, and 1 man left. We go to the 4th. It's a 1-1 game in a league.
And show the guys you can hit left-handed pitchers and have the success. This is a nice at bat for him, and I'm sure he feels pretty good about it.
1-1 game here on Yes. On the Audi scoreboard, it's 1-2-0 Yanks and 1-3-0 for the Tigers. Marcus Timms will lead off. And there's a strike from Nate Robertson. Marcus Timms walked in the first inning, hitting just 114 so far this spring. Former Tiger. That one is driven deep to left field. There it goes. See ya. A long home run for Timms as the Yankees lead 2-1.
Just what Joe Girardi and the staff wanted to see, and I'm sure Marcus Timms very happy about this. And you don't get too excited about home runs in spring training, but when you're trying to get that job and show the guys you can hit left-handed pitchers and have the success, this is a nice at bat for him, and I'm sure he feels pretty good about it.
And you said it earlier, Tino. He's got to hit home runs against lefties. That's why he's on the team.
Well, right down the middle right there, and Timms does a great job just staying on it, driving right through it, and he knew it as soon as he hit it, it was gone.
Here's Curtis Granderson and the breaking ball inside.
Everybody knew this right here. The pitcher, the hitter, the left fielder took this one step, and
that one's driven deep to right field off the bat of Granderson. Going back, Ordonez, and he'll make the play on the warning track for the first out of the 4th.
Another good swing here by Curtis Granderson as well. Little fastball in the middle of the plate there. Middle in, actually. Stays back and inside the ball with his hands and put a pretty good swing on it. The wind's actually blowing out to left field, so that wind might have held that one up just a little bit. But those are the kind of at-bats you want to see, whether it's an out or not, just the approach and the swings. And you know, Joe Girardi's been very encouraged throughout the spring with Curtis Granderson's at-bats against left-handed pitchers.
Randy Wynn grounds one to short. are 2 outs. Well, come home to Yankee Stadium in 2010 to see the 27-time world champion New York Yankees in action. Saturday, April 17th and Sunday, April 18th is calendar weekend when the Yankees take on the Rangers. All fans in attendance at either game are going to receive a Yankees calendar courtesy of Subway. For tickets, log on to Yankees.com, visit the Yankee Stadium ticket window, Yankees clubhouse shops, or you can just call Ticketmaster at 877-469-9849. Here's Ramiro Pena, and there's a strike from Robertson. Ramiro playing short, and Brandon Laird playing third as the left side of the Yankee infield stayed back in Tampa. Derek Jeter and Alex Rodriguez. And that's the way it works. Veterans don't make that many trips. They try not to get them on buses, although this is not an exceptionally long trip from Tampa.
I was talking with Alex Rodriguez a couple of days ago, and he's just been very pleased at the way Joe Girardi's handled all spring. He says the guys are fresh, they feel good, they're ready for the season to start. They haven't been overplayed. They've just got the right amount of at-bats, and their bodies feel good.
What does a guy do on a spring day when you don't have to make the trip? You just go home and sleep? You play golf?
Well, the guys that stay back today will hit batting practice in the morning. They'll stretch. They'll hit some batting practice as much as they want.
That one's ripped to center, a base hit for Pena.
Once they finish batting practice, they want ground balls. They take it and they do a little conditioning, and then it's up to them. It's one of those days where if they want to go to the beach, if their wife's in town, or just hang out and maybe watch a game on TV. You know, it's just whatever they want. It's just a nice, relaxing day that the players love.
So we might have some of the Yankees that were left back, like a Jeter, an A-Rod, a Nick Swisher. They might actually be watching right now.
They might be. They might be at a certain restaurant or somewhere, and the game will probably be on. Or they might be sitting by a pool somewhere. Or I would be.
Pitch to Russo is a strike. Being with the Yankees must have been great for you because it was almost like 6 extra weeks at home, right?
Yeah, it was great. It was great. You know, I got to come to the ballpark in the morning and play the game and be home an extra 6 weeks, which is really good. I mean, it's really an asset to live in Tampa and play for the Yankees.
Runner goes, throw to second. Not in time. It goes into center field, but Pena's going to stay right there. So a stolen base for the Yankee shortstop.
This one was stolen on the pitcher as well. Nate Robertson just lost track of Pena over there at first base and ignored him. And then Pena goes the first move, and great jump, and he had no chance to throw him out here. As soon as that leg goes up, he's gone, whether he's coming to first or not. And Pena knew he had it right off the bat.
So that was a strike to Russo. The count 0-2 now. Ooh, and that clips Russo. And he's going to take first base as Pena stays put at second. You don't want to do that on 0-2. You wasted being ahead of the count. So now that'll bring up Brandon Laird.
Fastball way, just pulled, just grabbed, just held on to it too long and just buried it in the dirt.
Rick Knapp, the pitching coach, goes out and talks with Robertson. So runners on first and second, 1 run already in. Yankees lead 2-1, 2-4-0 for the Yanks, 1-3-0 for the Tigers. It all starts for real next Sunday. Yeah, it's that close. Next Sunday at Fenway Park, Sunday night. And the game will be right here on Yes. You've got to tune in. It should be great. CC Sabathia and the Red Sox announced yesterday that their starting pitcher on opening night will be Josh Beckett. So a pretty good pitching matchup. Two rivals going at it to start off the baseball season. They had the pickoff on at second, but Pena alert.
It's one thing managers like to see. Miguel Cabrera did it earlier, and Ramiro Pena did it right there. When the pitchers aren't paying attention to you, even though it's spring training, they want you to go ahead and steal, take that extra base, and be aggressive.
There's a strike to Brandon Laird.
What do you think about the Yankees and Red Sox opening up the season together? Do you like that?
I don't like it because I'd rather see them play when the games are a bit more important. I think that opening night or opening day is always big. So why not have the Yankees play the Royals or a team that might not be that good? I don't see why you'd waste Yankees Red Sox.
I don't know why the schedule makers do that as well. It's just 3 games and it's over. It's like really not even a rivaled series at that
Right.
point.
Because any first 3 games are going to be important, and you've almost wasted a Yankee-Red Sox series. I understand why baseball would want to do it, because the eyes of the world will be watching, because around the country it's going to be on ESPN. It's Sunday Night Baseball. But in New York, you could watch it on Yes. It's interesting. And also, I don't understand why you'd have 2 Eastern teams playing at the beginning of April on the East Coast. Because for a while, when you were with the Yankees, it seemed like every season they opened on the West Coast.
Yeah, we did, because the weather was so bad, and I think we loved that too. We got to Anaheim or Oakland-Anaheim series, and it would have good weather usually to start the year and give the weather in the East a chance to break up a little bit. And, got some good warm weather at bats. We loved it.
This is the Yankee April schedule, the first 3 games in Boston. And, of course, the Yankees leave Tampa to fly to Boston and go back down to Tampa to play the Tampa Bay Rays. Then they'll open up their home season against the Angels, then the Texas Rangers, then their first West Coast trip, Oakland and the LA Angels, and then they'll finish up a long trip in Baltimore, and they start a series at the White Sox after that. So busy April with all the Mondays off. And a swing and a miss, a foul tip by Laird, held on to by his brother Gerald, and that's going to do it. But the Yankees get a run on 2 hits, no errors and 2 left. The big blow off the bat of Marcus Timms. He hits a long home run, breaks a 1-1 tie. We go to the bottom of the 4th, 2-1. The skipper is back for another season of WB Mason Presents the Joe Girardi Show. Every week, go inside the mind of the manager as he breaks down the team's performance and looks ahead to the upcoming series. It's the season premiere of the Joe Girardi Show next Saturday at 4, only on Yes. And there's the star of the show, Joe Girardi. Joe, how are you?
I'm good, Michael. How are you?
You looking forward to the show? I know all winter you're probably decompressed by not having the Joe Girardi Show.
I miss you, Michael. I miss you all winter long. I don't get a chance to see you or talk to you, so I'm looking forward to it.
You know what we could do next winter, Joe, is we could just do the show for practice if you'd like every week.
Boy, go ahead. You make sure you show up wherever I'm at. We'll do it.
Guillen pops it up. And Kevin Russo will make the play for the first out on the Audi scoreboard, 2-1 Yankees. First off, A.J. Burnett. Joe, what do you think?
I like it. He's used his fastball a lot today, and he's had pretty decent command of it. He's thrown it. He's mixed in a few breaking balls just to keep him honest, but he's 1 run through 3 1/3. I like what I see.
You're coming down to the last week of spring training, Joe. Do you feel good about your team? Obviously, they're not winning the way you'd want them to, but you can't really count that much about winning in spring training. How do you feel how the camp went?
I do feel good about our team, and we've been really fortunate. We've been healthy all spring long, and you want to keep it that way. And with a week to go, it's really important that we keep these guys healthy and start. They're playing 3 days in a row here. All our guys, all the infielders are off today. They just played 3 days in a row, and they'll go back to work tomorrow. And the outfielders are in their little where they're going to play 3 or 4 days in a row here, and then they'll get a day. But I do feel good about the health of our club, the club that we've assembled here, and I like it.
Now, you made your 5th starter decision earlier in the week. The one decision I would think that you have left over, and I'm sure there's some bullpen stuff as well, is who's going to play center and who's going to play left. Have you made that call yet?
No, we haven't made that call, but, we got plenty of time to do that. I'm not too concerned because both of these guys are familiar with playing center field, and they both look good in left field. So I'm happy with the way that has went, and we'll make that sometime next week and just start playing them every day in their spot.
Brandon Inge at the plate, and a 1-2 count from A.J. Burnett. He cannot hold up on the breaking ball, and Inge down on strikes.
Joe, one thing, too, I wanted to mention, not to make a big deal out of it, but A.J. Burnett and Jorge Posada seem to be getting in rhythm together the last couple outings. Early in the spring, they looked a little bit off a little bit, but today and the last time, they seem to be a little more in control.
Yeah, they have been, especially today. And a lot of times, Tino, players are going to work on things in spring training. They're going to throw pitches at times they're not going to throw during the course of the season. A.J. wanted to work on his changeup early, and that's not a pitch that he threw a lot last season. So, it's like the last thing on your mind, but he wanted to work on it, and they've been in a good rhythm, and A.J.'s been in a good rhythm. They work quickly here, and I like that, and that's positive.
Now, Joe, we mentioned you made the 5th starter decision. Obviously, Phil Hughes would be elated. He won the competition. How do you think Jabba took the news?
Well, I think all the guys were disappointed, somewhat disappointed. But I've seen, a difference in their demeanor the last few days. And it's that first day of getting over the shock. You still have a great opportunity to pitch on a very good club and to really make a difference. Bullpen innings are very important to us. We used our bullpen, and we spread the work around last year. And they were a big part of our success. So each one of those guys has a chance to play an important role.
The 0-2. 1-2. Now, you also, in that decision, you end up letting go of Chad Godin. I know, Joe, from talking to you last year, you like what he did for you. That must not have been easy. I guess he didn't translate to the bullpen, right?
Yeah, I mean, that was difficult because Chad, he started 7 games for us, and we were 7-0 in his starts, and he did whatever he asked, and he really helped us out down the stretch. And, you know, whenever you're with a club and they're part of a championship club, it's hard to say goodbye. You know, even if you're not a championship club, because you develop relationships, and he was good last year for us, and I wish him I hope he has a good year wherever he's at. I know he's going to land somewhere because he can pitch.
Now, one of the guys that was in the competition was Sergio Mitre. Does his stuff translate to the bullpen, Joe? Has that been decided yet?
Well, there's some different things that Serge can do. I mean, he can long relief, he can spot start, and we haven't used him on a 1-inning stint. And I don't know how much we would do that this spring. He's going to start the game on Tuesday. We have a split doubleheader. He gets the night game at home. But he gives us coverage, and he can give us a lot of distance.
Count 3-2 on Gerald Laird. And A.J. Burnett deals a breaking ball, strike 3. So a 1-2-3 inning, and we don't get to spend that much time with Joe Girardi. Joe, thanks for the time.
Thanks, Michael. Thanks, Tino.
Thank you, Joe.
We'll talk to Joe tomorrow. We have the game on tomorrow again as the Tigers will come to Tampa. Right now it's 2-1 Yanks as we go to the 5th. Yes, is brought to you in part by Lexus and your local Lexus dealer. Well, we go to the 5th inning. It's 2-1. Yankees lead. It's 2-4-0 for the Yanks, 1-3-0 for the Tigers. Nate Robertson still in there, his 5th inning of work. Gave up a run in the 1st on a double by Granderson, and then gave up a run in the 4th, a solo home run by Marcus Timms. And here's Brett Gardner. Gardner 0 for 2 against Robertson. And there's a strike. Last time up, he swung at the first pitch. This time, he takes that one.
Yeah, I would do it if I was him almost every time. I mean, you don't want him to lose his aggressiveness, but his game is speed, and he's got to just take some more pitches and hit the ball hard on the ground and make things happen.
A lot of people forget that Brett Gardner was the starting fielder for the Yankees last year on opening day, and he lost the job to Melky Cabrera. I think in all likelihood, although he hasn't made the decision, I think that that's going to be the call this year. He's going to be the starting left fielder, and Granderson's going to be in center. And lurking in the background will be Randy Winn. I don't think Marcus Timms would ever be considered as a starter, but Randy Winn would be a switch hitter who's done it before. So I think that Gardner will get the opportunity, but he certainly has to produce.
He definitely has to produce, and I think it's what Joe Girardi wants. He wants to solidify the spot so that they can get used to each other out there as well. You know, Gardy has to get used to how many balls Granderson can get to out there in left center when they're going to collide or come together, and how much range each other has for balls, and the communication level is very important out there as well.
Squibb the other way, foul. And one thing they'd like Gardner to do this year is bunt. And he didn't have bunt hits last year. And with his speed, he should be able to bunt for at least 10 hits a year if he's going to get 550 at-bats. That's the kind of speed that he has. And then if you get those bunt hits, you might get other hits that go through the infield because the infielders are going to have to creep up. That one's chopped to first. And Cabrera beats Gardner to the bag for the 2nd time today. 1 out.
Nate Robertson doing a good job here using his fastball. Just kept pounding Gardy in there and got him to roll over to first base. But he's been attacking the zone, throwing strikes, and having a pretty good outing so far.
He's thrown 74 pitches so far. Number 75 coming up against Nick Johnson. Nick 0 for 2 today. Struck out in the 1st and grounded to 2nd in the 3rd. And there's a strike.
Been mixing it up well. The little curveball right there for strike 1. Just not necessarily falling into patterns. Just throwing fastballs, curveballs, whatever he wants at any time, any count.
Ripped. Foul. Nick Johnson, last year split time with the Marlins and the Nationals. Was a free agent. Didn't think the Yankees would have any interest in him. When the interest was shown, he told his agent, get it done. He wanted to play for the Yankees. He started his career here. And now he's back. Count 1-2. Didn't play in 07 because of injury, and he's really been hurt a lot, and that's the key with him. The Yankees have to keep him healthy. They think as a DH, he's more apt to remain healthy. Strike 3 as that one whispers across the outside corner. And Nick Johnson 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts today.
The fastball in the outer half right here. I think Nick was looking in a little bit. Good pitch in the outer half right there, and not much Nick could do with that ball anyway. And I think if anybody could do, but not quite what Johnny Damon did, but hit that number 2 hole and face righties and lefties, it's Nick Johnson. He goes deep into counts. He makes the pitchers work. He gets on base, and he has power. So he's going to be a good guy in that slot.
Gets to Posada. Is a strike. Posada with a double just to the left of center field in the first, and he came around to score the Yankees' first run. Then a fly ball to right. And another base hit for Posada. Kelly gets the ball in. So Posada 2 for 3. And he is 11 for his last 22.
Talk about when that season to start, Michael. He's one guy who wants that season to start tomorrow. He's feeling good. He's seeing the ball well, having some good at-bats and hitting the ball hard everywhere.
So Posada being held on at first base by Cabrera. And here's Marcus Timms. Strike. Timms against the left-hander has walked today, and then a long home run onto the berm in left field. Fouled away. Let's take a look at that home run. This was leading off the 4th inning.
Fastball right down the middle. Seems all over. He sat back and drove it way out of the ballpark. Good swing by Marcus. And that last swing was a good swing too. A little fastball away. He fouled it off the right side, but he didn't try to pull it. Seems like he's getting a little more comfortable up there at the plate, and just what the Yankees want to see.
Big healthy cut as he swings over the top, and that'll do it. Robertson with a strong 5 innings as the Yankees. You're going to want to tune in. Al Leiter and John Flaherty actually get into a fist fight in the roundtable. It's fun to watch.
I'm sure with Al Leiter, there's a lot of action involved too. A lot of hyperness. Absolutely.
A.J. Burnett for his 5th inning of work. And there's a strike. No, that was called a ball to Scott Sizemore. I'm kidding, nobody fought, but you should watch the show, it's good. Fouled away.
AJ got in a good rhythm here last couple innings. Attacking the zone there. Him and Jorge are doing a great job communicating, but he's just attacking the strike zone. He's nice and effortless out there. He's just letting the ball go.
Low on one. Driven out to right field. Randy Wynn will put it away. 1 down.
I think sometimes you fall into a trap as a pitcher, and I'm sure AJ does, where you feel like you have to strike everybody out. It's okay to just attack the zone, let the hitters get themselves out. It's not that easy to hit the ball, find a hole every time up, and sometimes pitchers don't realize that.
Here's Adam Everett. And it seems, Tino, the guys that are like that are the guys that are blessed with electric stuff like A.J. Burnett, because he does feel as if he could strike everybody out.
Exactly, and I would too if I had his kind of stuff. But he's got to realize too, when, save yourself some pitches. Go after the guys, let them put the ball in play, and use your defense behind you.
There's so much talk now as sabermetricians in baseball, Tino, are trying to evaluate or give value to defensive schematics. And you look at a team like the Mariners last year. They built their team around defense, and they had the biggest turnaround. They had 24 more wins than they did the previous year. So if you got a defense, you might as well use it. And if you got a good defense, you really should let them put the ball in play.
When guys catch the ball behind you, it makes a big difference. It gives the pitcher a lot of confidence to attack the strike zone. He doesn't think he has to strike everybody out. I think Mark Teixeira brought a little bit to the Yankees defense last year. Picking balls out of the dirt, turning double plays, throwing guys out at home plate. He really solidified that infield that was already good.
Here's Austin Jackson. Austin has grounded out to second twice against A.J. Burnett. There's a strike.
A.J. using his curveball, fastball, first pitch just doesn't matter right now. He's in a good rhythm and has the confidence to use all of his pitches. Struck out Gerald Laird at the end of the fourth there. He threw him 3 curveballs in a row. The last one was an inside curveball, a 3-2 pitch, and just showing he's not afraid to throw everything at any time.
There's that fastball. He and Posada seem to be on the same page, working quickly. And making the right calls, count 2-2.
It's a good fastball right here. Austin Jackson tried to overswung actually, but that's good fastball running in on the hands there. Good aggressive swing by Austin Jackson, but that ball had some giddy up on it.
Count still 2-2. Wind whipping here from right to left. Old Glory straight out toward the left. But Marcus Tim's home run earlier was not bolstered by the wind. That was hit out on power. But some of the balls to right field have been held in.
Granderson hit a ball very well out there. I thought he got it for a home run, and they caught it at the track, but I thought that was a very good swing, and he hit it a lot harder than it looked. Just like that pitch, I think A.J. tried to throw that one a little harder than he could.
Here's the payoff from the Yankee right-hander. And again, he tried to muscle up, and pitch was high as Austin Jackson works a 2-out walk. There's Don Kelly. Johnny Damon had 2 at-bats against his former teammates. He grounded to third, and then he doubled to right field. So this will be Kelly's first at-bat.
It's one of the better outings here for A.J. Burnett this spring. And he's the kind of guy that can build off this. The confidence level, him and Jorge working well together. Something he'll carry over to the season. But it's very important for these starters to have a good outing, the last one or two last outings before the season begins. And you really want A.J. going out there feeling good about himself and doing a great job today.
A little later in the game, Jabba Chamberlain is going to come in out of the bullpen. And we'll talk more about the decision the Yankees made on the number 5 spot. One hopper to Pena, kind of a squib shot, and he gets the hustling Kelly for the final out of the 5th inning. No runs, no hits, no errors. 1 man left, 5 in the book at Joker's Place. It's 2-1 Yankees.
When we built our first hybrid, YouTube didn't exist, and Facebook was still run out of a dorm room. When we built our first hybrid, more people had landlines than cell phones, and gas was $1.75 a gallon. And now, while other luxury car makers are building their first hybrids, Lexus hybrids have traveled 5.5 billion miles. And that's quite a head start.
For 500 years, Koreans have been practicing a unique heat therapy. This historical therapy was revealed by the 12 different types of saunas to release your daily fatigues and to restore yourself. Refresh your body and mind with the heat of a 500-year-old tradition. King Spa and Fitness.
Kyle!
What's up, Mom?
You went on a 29,000-mile joyride in my brand new BMW?
Mom, it's pre-owned.
But your father said it was new.
Yeah, new as in you didn't have it before.
Looks like new, performs like new.
A Zoftig ERA of 7.94. 6 hits in 5 2/3 innings, and he'll be throwing to a new catcher. It's Robinson Diaz taking over for Gerald Laird. And here's Curtis Granderson. Granderson, a double to right, driving in a run in the first inning. They hit a long drive to right field in the fourth. Now, those were significant at-bats because they were against the lefty, and that's the big question with Curtis. Last year, he hit 183 against lefties. He has to be better this season. Swing and a miss. That's the kind of heat that Zumaya brings.
Fastball up out of the zone here. Zumaya throws so hard, he kind of got geared up a little early, and Grandy got a little aggressive there and chased the bad ball out of the zone.
Now, Granderson played on the same team as Zumaya. Obviously, Granderson played with the Tigers his whole career. And my question is, Tino, who has the advantage when a batter goes to another team and faces the pitcher that he used to play behind, the pitcher or the batter?
Well, I think when it's a guy like Zumaya who just throws 95, 96, it really doesn't matter. You know he's going to come after you with some hard fastballs, and you know exactly what to expect.
Like that. I guess the pitcher has to pitch.
We'll go with the pitcher. But really, when a guy has, a guy may know you a little more. If he has a high fastball right here, just coming right after Granderson, good pitch up in the zone, and not much you can do with that. But when a pitcher, Grandy tried to get started a little early there and just geared up on a 2-strike count and tried to put the ball in play best he could or foul it off. That's all you can try right there. But when you have a guy who's maybe a sinker ball, cutter type guy who has a bunch of different pitches, and he may know you because he sees you play every day and knows you don't like that sinker way, he may come after you with that and attack you at your weakness. But when you're a guy like Joel Zumaya throwing hard, it doesn't matter. He's going to come after your fastballs.
See, I wonder how much an advantage that would be, because a lot of pitchers don't pay that much attention to their hitters. You're behind that pitcher, and you see the way he works batters. Wouldn't you know what he might do, too?
Well, yeah, you would know what he might do. And also, a guy like Gerald Laird, who's watches them play all year as well, he knows how to try to get Granderson. I can't say you can get him out, but
right.
they'll have a game plan beforehand, and probably know his weaknesses a little bit more than everybody else, but you still got to execute the pitches.
Tino, did you enjoy facing Randy Johnson after playing behind him, or did you get Randy Johnson-itis when he pitched?
I never got Randy Johnson-itis, but I never had a chance to face him too much. I played with him in Seattle, and then when I got traded to the Yankees, he went over to the Diamondbacks. This is a good little
yeah, if you're going to throw that for strikes.
Curveball split, yeah. It's just when you're geared up for a 95 and he just drops that on you, just got to take that one, tip your hat to the pitcher, and get him next time. But he went over the Diamondbacks, and I was with the Yankees, so never faced him. And then
in the
World Series, I faced him once. Maybe that was it. So I may have 1 or 2 at bats against him. So I never got the chance to have Randy Johnson-itis.
I bet you wouldn't. You might not have played, maybe, but I don't think that you would ask out. Some players asked out.
I wouldn't ask out. I don't think I'd ask out of the lineup either. But if there was a guy on the bench who right-handed hitter who may have a better shot at him, or who's faced him a lot in the past, and they decided to use him at first base that day, in the middle of June,
right.
It's okay. Late in the season, you want to be in there, especially in the playoffs.
The 0-1. There's a strike. Zumaya working quickly, throwing strikes 98 miles an hour here in March. And the 0-2. Swing and a miss. Boy, was he dominating. Absolutely dominating, and he knows it as he strides out the mound proudly. He strikes out Curtis Granderson, high fastball. Then a breaking pitch freezes Randy Wynn. Then he goes back for some cheese for Ramiro Pena, and Pena swings and misses to go to the bottom of the 6th. On the Tri-State Ford dealer scoreboard, it's 2-1 Yankees, bottom of the 6th. Crowd still buzzing about Joel Zumaya's blistering performance. Here's Maglio Ordonez, pitch outside. Tigers made a decision last year. If you're a baseball purist, you have to appreciate it. Maglio Ordonez had a kick-in clause in his contract that if he had so many at-bats, this year would be guaranteed at $18 million. And he wasn't playing in the middle of the season. Didn't look like he was going to get to that clause. And Jim Leland said, I'm not playing him because he's not hitting. I'm not playing him because he's going to come up and guarantee $18 million. Then, in the limited time that he got, he started to hit, and they were down to the last day, and he played him every single day, and the clause kicked in, $18 million guaranteed because he did play him. For Jim Leland, it was more important for him to win those games than to worry about the Tigers having to pay the $18 million this year.
Yeah, and you got to respect both sides in that sense, because if he deserved to play, you have to let him play, and if his incentive or his contract kicks in for next year, so be it. But there's no reason to bench a player just for a contract status type deal, especially if he needs to be in the lineup and he can help your team win.
And when he finally got back into the lineup, he really did start to hit. So I'm sure that the front office wasn't elated, but they certainly, you can't tell Jim Leland, who is a Hall of Fame level manager, we don't want you to play the guy. It's more important to win the pennant, because the $18 million wouldn't have been that big of a deal. But the way it turned out for the Tigers, it probably was not a great move, because they didn't win the pennant. They lost to the Twins, and they have to pay Ordonez $18 million, which he probably wouldn't make in this day and age now. But he draws that walk right there.
Well, you have to give yourself the best shot to win, and I think Jim Leland probably spoke to the front office and said, hey, this guy is my best shot to win and try to make the playoffs, and that's the route they went. So,
and they lost to the Twins in that one-game playoff, and that's going to be a barn burner again, the American League Central. Big blow for the Twins, though, Tino, losing Joe Nathan.
Yeah, that is a big blow. You got to find someone to step up now in the bullpen and take that closer role. And I'm sure it's going to be closer by committee for a while there, which is a tough way to start the season. But hopefully by the middle of the year they figure it out and somebody emerges and helps them, because they do have a very good ball club.
Nathan had Tommy John surgery. I believe it was yesterday. He's going to be out for a year, and they hope to get him back at some point toward the start of next year. But everybody you talk to say that Tommy John surgery usually takes 18 months before you're really back full. But they'll take chances, and he had the surgery as soon as he possibly could. But a real big blow for the Twins, who, moving into a new ballpark, really were expecting to contend. They tightened up their defense up the middle. They gave Joe Mauer that big contract. And they were ready to roll, and then they lose one of their most important players. Now that has to help the Tigers' chances. So one man's misfortune, another man's fortune.
That's right. Also, this guy in that bullpen, though, that has to take advantage of that opportunity and says, hey, Nathan's down. I got a chance to close. Let me try to take advantage of this opportunity and see if I can do the job and solidify myself as a closer in the major leagues.
Right now, it looks like John Roush or Matt Guerrero will battle for that closing role with the Twins.
One thing that amazed me about that Tommy John surgery is, although it takes 18 months to recover, it's amazing how the players come back and throw just as hard as they ever did beforehand and are able to pitch 3 or 4 or 5 more years successfully.
It's scary, Tino, that sometimes they come back throwing harder.
It just totally amazes me how that surgery has turned out to be that way, and really has prolonged a lot of careers and will continue to do so.
We have a pinch runner at first base. It's Michael Rocket, which is a great name for a pinch runner. Just a great name.
If you're fast.
Yeah, like me being Michael
fast.
Rocket would not be good. Now in the sky to right field. Win is there, and I'll put it away to retire Cabrera. Yeah, that would stink if you're slow. Oh, this is Michael Rocket.
You have no choice but to be fast. It's a good name, though.
Here's Carlos Guillen and A.J. Burnett about to throw his 80th pitch of the afternoon. Rocket back. Pitch number 80. It's outside. Well, AJ will get one more start next week. So if he throws 85 pitches today, he'll get him up to 100. Boom, he's ready to roll. He'll pitch the second game against the Red Sox. Opening night is a week from tomorrow, and we'll have it on Yes. Yankees against the Red Sox at Fenway. Monday's an off day, and then Tuesday, A.J. Burnett will pitch. And it'll be A.J. Burnett against John Lester, and then it'll be Andy Pettit against John Lackey. So really great matchups in that 3-game series against the Red Sox.
It's going to be a good battle, obviously, in the American League East again this year with the Tampa Bay Rays, much improved. Baltimore, Toronto. The Yankees just got an outstanding team again coming back this year, and they're going to be tough to beat, I have to believe.
Weak hack there by Guillen. Kind of a wave in the count 1-2. Burnett sets at the net. A long set. Rocket goes. And that one is lined to right field. Coming on Wynn. He'll make the catch. Let's see if they can make the double play. Throw to first. Got him. Nice play by Randy Wynn. A shoe top grab. And because Rocket was going, Wynn fired a strike to Johnson for the inning-ending 9-3 double play. You see Rocket go. Sinking line drive. Wynn spears it right before it hits the grass. Comes up throwing a strike to Johnson, and 6 innings of one-run ball for A.J. Burnett ends with this 9-3 double play.
It's one of the best mid-size sports sedans in the world. If it's not, there are over 50 international awards we'd better give back. The Jaguar XF. The critically acclaimed result of a very different way of thinking.
Lease a 2010 XF for $599 at your tri-state area Jaguar dealer.
It's the first time you're letting your daughter shop on her own. So here's your moment of truth, Mom. Which 3G network would you trust to run apps like Family Locator when it matters most? When you want your 3G network to work, you want Verizon. Upgrade your family now and get an LG Envy Touch. Or get this Samsung Alias for just $29.99. Plus add a line for just $9.99. But hurry, offer ends March 31st. Families can connect for less at Verizon.
When Motor Trend says you're good, you're good. But when they name the Ford Fusion 2010 Car of the Year, that means there is nothing better. Except maybe getting 0% financing or $2,000 cash back during the Leadership Sales Drive. That's 0% financing or $2,000 cash. Plus, with up to 34 miles per gallon, Fusion gets better gas mileage than both Camry and Accord. Or you can lease for only $189 a month. Ford Fusion, Car of the Year, Deal of the Century. The Leadership Sales Drive at your Tri-State Ford dealer.
Tomorrow, opening day is a week away, and the Yankees and Tigers are gearing up for the regular season. Now they face off one more time in Tampa as their spring tune-ups continue. Spring training baseball starts tomorrow at 1, only on YAP.
We'd like to remind everybody that this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the New York Yankees. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees. Odd place for a bird's nest. Well lit, tell you that. And a new pitcher for the Tigers is Brad Thomas as we go to the 7th inning. Yankees leading 2-1. Michael Rocket takes over in right field, and the new first baseman is Jeff Larish. That's what Thomas has done so far, 10 hits in 9 innings. Count 1-2. Grounded to short. Everett to Larish. Now, Tino, I'm watching you keep scoring right-handed. You were right-handed first baseman.
All I do is hit left-handed.
Did you ever hit righty?
I did as a kid, but I was a natural lefty as a hitter. But I tried to bat right-handed as a switch hitter. It didn't work out too well. So I canned that idea. But all I do is hit left-handed. Everything else is right-handed.
Do you even golf right-handed?
I golf right-handed as well, yes.
Really?
Yes, I do.
Here's Brandon Laird. Kevin Long, the Yankee hitting coach, throws batting practice left-handed, but he throws right-handed. That's a little bit of a different. We usually don't see that much.
No, you don't see that too often. There's not a whole lot of major leaguers that are like that. Ricky Henderson used to be one of them. that's pretty odd. But one thing, the reason why I play golf right-handed is because when I was a kid, 10 years old, my grandfather decided to try to give me lessons. And back then, way back then, the only junior clubs they had were right-handed. They didn't make left-handed clubs. So I had right-handed clubs and started playing golf right-handed.
When did you give up the switch hitting, though?
When I was 12 years old, I was hitting so good left-handed. I was a big kid. I was hitting home runs. You know, really having a great year in the major leagues, in the majors division. And when I tried to bat right-handed, I'd strike out. It would frustrate me, so I quit doing it. And I shouldn't have done it. I should have just kept battling with it and working it out through the years. It would have been better off in the big leagues, but I just gave up on the idea a little too early because I was striking out.
I think it worked out okay, Tino, especially playing at Yankee Stadium. That was probably the right swing to have.
Yeah, it worked out okay, but if you have the chance, you know, I can tell any kids that are listening to switch hit or try it, you have to go for it.
There's a base hit through the left side by Brandon Laird.
All the good left-handed hitters you talk to, the Jorge Posadas and Ken Singleton, when you get a chance to talk to him, they went through that process where they struggled from that one side of the plate as a kid, and their dad, their coach kept making them do it. They stuck with it and became successful major league switch hitters.
The guys that really startle me, Tino, are the guys that take it up late, like Bernie Williams began to switch hit in the minor leagues. I mean, that must be very difficult.
Yeah, that amazes me too about Bernie because he's such a great switch hitter. I mean, he hits well from both sides with power. Just amazing what he's done, and you're right, how late he started. You just can't pick it up when you're 18, 20 years old and decide you're going to do it. So whoever made him do that or tried that obviously came with a great idea and knew that he had the ability to do it.
That was Buck Showalter, former Yankee manager, who had Bernie in the minor leagues, and they decided to have him switch hit. Count 2-0. I mean, the way you sell it to a kid, you got a better chance of getting to the big leagues if you do this.
Absolutely, and you don't have to face the lefty on lefty. You get the ball coming into your zone from the outside part of the pitcher's body every time up. So it's a good luxury to have, but you have to be good at it. You just can't be a 180 hitter from one side and 320 from the other.
What was the one left-handed pitcher that you faced that you would stand up there thinking, gee, I wish I had kept the switch hitting going?
Oh, well, Randy Johnson, if I got a chance, to face him, he would definitely be the guy you'd want to be right-handed against. B.J. Ryan, the closer from the Orioles back then, when he's throwing 95, 96. Anybody who drops down or has that three-quarter type angle that throws behind the left-handed hitter's back, those are the guys you would love to be right-handed against.
Brett Gardner has worked the count to 3-1. Brett Gardner today has not had a good day. He's 0 for 3, struck out in 2 ground balls softly to first base. And the 3-1. So he does work a walk. So a base hit by Laird and then a walk to Gardner puts runners on first and second with one out here in the 7th inning. Yankees are up 2-1. A beautiful day here in Lakeland, Florida. Only just now some clouds appearing overhead, but this has been a miserable spring. You talk to people around here, they say this is the worst weather that they've ever had. A lot of rain, a lot of cold weather, but today is a classic spring day, 78 degrees, and at the start of the game, not a cloud in the sky, although there's more rain in the forecast for tomorrow late in the day and all day Monday as well.
It's going to rain, but the good thing is hopefully the games don't get rained out. The temperature is supposed to be up there in the mid-70s throughout the rest of the week, which would be good for all the players to finish getting their work in here in spring training and get ready to head up north for the regular season.
Now, Tino, I've always wanted to ask you this, and we have you on the air now, we might as well. You see Nick Johnson wearing the eye black. Now, you used to wear that. I mean, did you do it because it looked cool, or did it actually do something for you?
It looked cool. No, I just thought, if it's gonna take away some of the glare and stop you from squinting so much, because I wasn't a guy who can wear the Oakleys or the sunglasses up there to hit. So I think if it just helped me a little bit from squinting, I used it, and I'm not sure if it helped or not, but it does look cool though.
It does, because I see you sometimes wear it outside the ballpark, and I said, wow, he must really like how that looks. The 0-1 is outside.
I just can't figure. You watch a football game and you see the football players wearing it for night games, and that's one thing I couldn't figure out why that would be. But I guess it must help them in a sense as well.
Well, but that definitely, all kidding aside, has to be for the cool factor or the intimidation factor.
I guess, but I don't think I was intimidating anybody. I was just trying to see the ball as best I could, and not only on offense but defensively as well.
Now, when they say the glare, obviously the black is on there so you don't see the glare off your cheekbone. Is that it?
I think that when the sun, wherever the sun's at, and the outfielder from the fans, it just sort of like just eases your eyes a little bit
because it hits the black rather than the
yes.
skin. Okay.
And one thing on a day like today, and even in old Yankee Stadium, when you're playing first base, and it's a beautiful, bright, sunny day, when the third baseman or shortstop gets that ball and throws it across the diamond, and it's coming out of all those white T-shirts, the ball's tough to pick up on defense. So I did it for that reason as well. Just hopefully that if it gave me somewhat of an edge, I did it.
Now, did you use the regular eye black or did you do the paste on ones?
No, I used the regular eye black. It's cooler. You can do more stuff with it.
Sort of that Alice Cooper look.
Yeah, exactly.
The 2-2. Still 2-2.
My son's a lacrosse player, and he loves playing lacrosse. And him and his teammates do the whole entire face. They do it all the way down their cheeks, and that's what I tell my son. Does that intimidate the other guys? He goes, no, it looks cool though. And of course he says, you used to wear it. I said, okay, whatever.
That's right. He's got those black and white photos. Runners on first and second with one out. And the 2-2 to Nick Johnson. Missed outside. The count now full at 3-2. Do the runners go on 3-2 here? Now you can say, well, spring training doesn't matter. Well, you want to do things that you might do during the regular season. Left-handed batter up, you probably don't send them here.
No, you don't send them here, especially Brandon Laird over on second base over there. You don't want to strike him out, throw him out, deal with Jorge Posada coming up next.
They don't send him, and it's a walk, so the bases are loaded. So Brad Thomas struggling here, getting the first out, and then 3 straight Yankees reach. And Nick Johnson is going to be lifted for a pinch runner. And that's David Winfrey. So Nick Johnson, who reaches base for the first time today, will head to the clubhouse and wipe off his eye black.
Or he might wear it home on the bus.
He might, because it's cool. So a long talk with Brad Thomas by the pitching coach Rick Knapp. And that's going to bring up Posada. Posada doubled and scored in the first, flew out to right in the third, and singled to left in the fifth. And the pitch. Fouled away. How many times you go up there trying to hit a home run, Tino?
I can't say very often, but what you try to do, like in this situation right here, that was a great swing by Jorge. First pitch, you're looking for a ball right down the middle, and you just let it fly. If you miss, you hit a deep ball to the outfield for a sac fly, and if not, you catch it, you might hit a home run.
Or you might hit a double play. There's one. Back to first. It's a double play. A 5-4-3 double play out the bat of Jorge Posada. Hit the ball hard, but right at Brandon Inge. So Brad Thomas works into and out of trouble, gets this 5-4-3 DP. No runs a hit, and 2 men left. Time for the 7th inning stretch. Yankees lead 2-1.
It's Chevy Truck Month, and that means full-size deals on full-size trucks like Silverado half-ton. Its powertrain is backed for 100,000 miles. It's a Consumer's Digest Best Buy. Chevy, the most dependable, longest-lasting full-size pickups on the road. Now during Truck Month, qualified buyers get 0% APR for 60 months or choose $4,000 total cash back on select 2010 Silverado models. It's Truck Month. See your local Chevy dealer.
It's time for
Tell the Truth. Welcome back. These 3 television providers claim to have the most HD channels. Judges, who will you believe?
Pass. We have the most HD channels. If you count our part-time HD channels. We have over 130 channels, all HD, all the time. All the time.
Judges?
If this were to tell a lie, I'd be crushing you.
Now that you've got the truth, get DirecTV. Stay tuned. With the new Geico Glove Box app, you can get help with a flat tire. Find a nearby tow truck or gas station. Call emergency services. Collect accident information. Or just watch some fun videos. It's so easy, a caveman can do it.
Unbelievable. Where's my coat? It was suede with the fringe.
Download the Glove Box app free at geico.com.
So now you can get a great deal on any Volkswagen.
Green one.
Oh, like our award-winning CC.
White one.
Or the fuel-efficient Jetta.
Ooh, red one.
Or the Tiguan.
Black one. Oh, 2 for flinching.
Plus, every Volkswagen includes no-charge scheduled carefree maintenance.
Silver one.
Oh.
On any Volkswagen?
Yeah. With great deals on all 13 models,
White one.
It's a whole new Volkswagen and a whole new game.
Tomorrow afternoon, we do it all again. The Yankees face the Tigers again, but this time back at Steinbrenner Field in Tampa with coverage on YES starting at 1. And don't forget opening night. Opening night next Sunday as the Yankees take on the Boston Red Sox at Fenway Park. That's going to be great. Expanded coverage starts next Sunday at 7 right here on YES. Well, this has not been a dog of a game by any stretch of the imagination. 2-1, the Yankees are leading as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. And are you surprised, Tino, that A.J. Burnett's still out there?
I am. He's pitched 6 solid innings already. His pitch count's up there in the 80s, and I am a little surprised, but Manager Joe Girardi and pitching coach Dave Island must have a game plan and are sticking to it. It might be another hitter or two before he exits in this game, but nice solid outing. I thought he might be out of there already.
83 pitches so far, 48 strikes, so he's allowed just 1 run. That run came with 2 outs in the 3rd inning, a double by Johnny Damon, a single by Maglio Ordonez, and Damon just made it in ahead of the tag by Jorge Posada. There's Joe Girardi, and here's Brandon Inge against A.J. Burnett. Count 1-0. Tigers have trained here in Lakeland 74 years, and that's the longest stretch of any team in baseball at any particular spring training site. Now, they didn't always train on this specific spot. It was kind of maybe across the street, but they built this ballpark in 1966, and then they kind of updated it a couple of years ago. And it's a nice facility. And as Tino said, the field's perfectly manicured. A good hitter's background in center field. You got the big black backdrop, and what they did was they also made the dimensions the same as they are at Comerica Park. It's 420 to dead center field, 340 down the left field line. Check swing on the breaking ball. Did he go? No.
It's definitely a beautiful facility, Mike. You mentioned the updates they did here. Let's see the swing here.
He did hold
close
up
there, yeah. They redid the seats. The facilities here, the batting cage underneath that the players can get their work in if it rains. You have the offices over here. It's a beautiful, beautiful job they did here, and a great place to play spring training and to watch a game. With a berm out there in the outfield, it's beautiful.
You know, if we do a game here next spring, Tino, what we should do is do the game from the berm. That would be fun.
That would be awesome. I would like that. Remember Harry Carey used to do the game
Yeah.
from the left field seats in Wrigley?
Mm-hmm.
The only bad thing about that is you can hear the fans on TV abusing you.
Yeah, but if you were out there with me.
You never know.
Nah, they're not abusing you. And the 3-2. Driven out to right field. Good jump there by Wynn. And boy, he's been battling the sun and the wind out there, but without a mistake. Played a very good right field today.
He's got some good jumps on the ball. The one's back away from him. Like, listen here, this ball's slicing away from him. He got a good jump on it, stayed with it. Nice play there earlier in the game. He came up, the ball slicing, cutting down in front of him, made a nice shoestring catch. He's seen the ball really well off the bat and making some great plays.
Here's Robinson Diaz, who took over for Gerald Laird last inning behind the plate. And a strike.
When I was a kid, before ESPN had all the games and whatnot, all we got was the WGN, the Cubs games. And they played afternoon games, so we got to see a lot of their games. And obviously hear Harry Carey all those years. And my favorite was when he was out there in the outfield.
Line drive, caught.
But you could hear the fans in the background and calling Harry, you're a bum. Harry, you're a bum. And then Harry would say, they love me out here, don't they? I used to love that.
There's Dave Island, and with that pitch, in all likelihood, A.J. Burnett reached the predetermined pitch count. I think he's at about 90 right now. No, it's 91. So they're going to call on David Robertson to take over for A.J. Burnett. A really nice performance by Burnett. He goes 6 2/3 innings, and he allows 3 hits and 1 run. Burnett departs. Here comes Robertson.
Get Nissan quality now. Get safety now. Get savings now. This is Nissan Now. A sales event with our best deals ever on our strongest lineup ever. 0% financing on every sedan, crossover, truck, and SUV. Plus, lease Altima, $199 a month. Hurry, event ends March 31st. Get to Nissan now.
Wow! Oh, forget about sacking quarterbacks. Home runs, baby!
Michael, that's the Easton Synergy IMX. Its reduction in mass in the barrel makes it lighter for faster exit speed, and it's got a bigger sweet spot, so anyone can hit like a pro.
Through Sunday only, get up to $100 in cash cards, good for anything in the store when you spend $100 or more.
Only at Sports Authority.
And if you go with us, it'll be a win-win.
Certainly will.
I think this could be a win-win. Maybe. This is gonna be a win-win. Win-win.
A what? A win-win!
You should say win-win. Use a hyphen. You know what this is?
A win-win?
A home run.
That's my next guess.
Win-win. Win-win.
Drink?
Man, this trip was great. I mean, I'm just, pumped.
We know why you fly. We're American Airlines.
Kyle!
What's up, Mom?
You went on a 29,000-mile joyride in my brand new BMW?
Mom, it's pre-owned.
But your father said it was new.
Yeah, new as in you didn't have it before.
Looks like new, performs like new. And with a warranty for up to 6 years or 100,000 miles, it's hard to believe it's pre-owned.
Wait till your father hears about this.
He knows all about it.
Take advantage of 0.9% financing until March 31st.
Hall of Famer Reginald Martinez Jackson giving some words of advice to Nick Johnson. Reggie's been with the Yankees all spring. New pitcher for the Yankees, David Robertson. That's what he's done so far in Grapefruit League action. 7 strikeouts in 4 2/3 innings, and he strikes people out. And he'll face Scott Sizemore with 2 outs. There's that good hard fastball. Tino, it's so weird. He throws 91, 92, but he overpowers people. It's got to be the delivery, the way it comes out of his hand.
It's that smooth, effortless delivery, and he has that fastball that cuts. It runs away from the right-handed hitters into the left-handed hitters, and he also throws a straight one that just goes right inside the righties, and players have a hard time judging it and picking it up. And also a little 12-6 curveball. That curveball goes from top to bottom, doesn't necessarily break across the plate. It breaks from the chest down to your knees, and he's got very good stuff that can get out both lefties and righties.
So he's a 12-6 curveball, not an 11-5.
Exactly.
Tino looked at his watch there for a second.
I thought about it. Take a look at his motion, his wind up right here. Nice and easy, smooth, effortless delivery. It's just kind of like when you're facing him. He's one of those guys that feels he's just throwing batting practice and the ball just jumps out of his hand and it's by you.
That's 90 miles an hour inside 3-1. What was your take on A.J. Burnett today?
I thought he pitched outstanding. Him and Jorge had a good rhythm going today. His wind up, his delivery, everything was smooth and effortless. He wasn't fighting himself at all. He was just attacking the hitters, throwing fastballs, curveballs at any time in the count. Just did an outstanding job. And getting that 90 pitch count this close to the season is just a great job.
Here's Adam Everett. Everett today 0 for 2, a fly ball to center and a ground ball to third. Sizemore held on there at first. There's that high fastball.
Good pitch right here, a little bit up in the zone. Everett chased a little bit.
High pop-up. Tough sun field. And Brett Gardner will put it away for the final out of the inning. So Robertson comes on to get the final out of the 7th. No runs and 1 man left. Let's take this baby to the 8th. It's 2-1 Yankees.
Why design a vehicle with 88 vibration control measures? Why engineer 20 available systems that sense and respond to your needs before you're even aware of them? Because the average driver spends over 40,000 hours of their lifetime driving. The 2010 Lexus ES, uniquely designed to make every hour feel just as remarkable as the first. Lease the 2010 ES 350 for $479 a month for 36 months, with $1179 due at signing.
Running is a sport that anybody can be a part of. Doesn't matter what your fitness level, the only person you're competing against is yourself.
And I think it's made me a much tougher person because of that.
So I feel pretty good about myself where I just don't want to stop. I'm in it to win it.
Now I'm that person that can do these things.
If you have 2 legs, you get off the couch, get out there and do it.
I love Jackrabbit because it's my neighborhood store.
Their employees were extremely helpful.
If I have any questions at Jackrabbit, I just walk in and ask.
I love Jackrabbit.
Class, pass your test board.
See what happens when kids go to school with the flu? They can easily pass their germs to everyone in the classroom. To keep them healthy, make sure kids get the seasonal flu vaccine right now and novel H1N1 vaccine when it's available. If they're sick, keep them home and teach them to wash their hands often or use hand sanitizer to reduce the spread of germs. A message from your state and local health departments to know what to do about the flu.
Kyle!
What's up, Mom?
You went on a 29,000-mile joyride in my brand new BMW?
Mom, it's pre-owned.
But your father said it was new.
Yeah, new as in you didn't have it before.
Looks like new, performs like new. And with a warranty for up to 6 years or 100,000 miles, it's hard to believe it's pre-owned.
Wait till your father hears about this.
He knows all about it.
Yankee fans can't wait for the 2010 season to begin. Subscribe now to MLB.tv to see over 150 select spring training games, plus every regular season game live or on demand on your computer. For complete details, visit Yankees.com. Baseball everywhere. Two-1, Yankees. New pitcher is Ryan Perry. And the count 0-2 to Marcus Timms. Timms today 1 for 2 with a walk. School is in session at Jackson University. There's a breaking ball by Perry.
It's one of those outings with A.J. Burnett. You don't tell him much. Great job. See you tomorrow. Don't get him too unless you're Reggie Jackson, don't get too deep in his head and make him think about what he should have done. He pitched a great ball game and seemed to be have everything working for him today. Great job.
1-2. Swing and a miss, and Timms down on strikes. So how did AJ do? He threw 91 pitches today, 6 2/3 innings. That's good for 3 hits, a run, and the run by a hair. The throw almost beat Johnny Damon trying to score. 3 walks and 2 strikeouts.
Reggie's giving him an earful.
Here's Curtis Granderson. New left side of the infield for the Tigers. The third baseman is Brent Dlugach, D-L-U-G-A-C-H. And the shortstop is Luis Palacios. That one's chopped to first. Kick foul at the last moment. Granderson had an RBI double right down the line against the left-hander Nate Robertson in the first inning, then hit a long drive against Robertson that was run down on the warning track by Maglio Ordonez in the fourth, and then struck out in the sixth. So 2 good at-bats against the left-hander.
I think once Granderson gets into Yankee Stadium and hits batting practice on that first day and starts to get the feel of the stadium of playing there every single day, and how nice the ball flies out the right field, he's going to get very comfortable, and looking forward to him getting off to a good, fast start. And I'm sure he is as well.
There's a base hit to right center field off the bat of Granderson. Let's see if he tries for 2, makes a big turn. He'll stop right there as Austin Jackson got to the ball quickly.
Good swing by Curtis Granderson right here. Fastball down the middle. Doesn't try to pull it, stays right on it. Nice short stride, stays back on his backside, drives through it. Nice swing in right center.
And the pinch runner is Abraham Almonte.
Good at bats by Granderson all day today. Now he can go into the dugout and get a few words from Reggie.
Here's Randy Wynn. Randy has struggled this spring. He's 0 for 3. This afternoon in Lakeland, the pitch is high. Yankees 2 runs on 7 hits. The Tigers 1 run on 3 hits. Now, a day like this, Tito, obviously the Yankees bus here. In spring training, if you were taken out of a game on a road trip and it was fairly close to Tampa, would you drive back yourself, or you wait for the team?
Well, I think manager Joe Girardi or the manager of a certain team will let the players know that beforehand. You know, he may tell Alex Rodriguez or Derek Jeter, hey, you're playing 4 innings a day or 2 at-bats. Make sure somebody brings a car so you guys can drive back together early so you don't have to sit around.
Almonte with the stolen base.
But in a case like that, Curtis Granderson, when you're here to the 8th inning, you just stay and you go back on the bus. But that's all predetermined. You ask the manager, hey, if I have 2 at-bats, I'm out of the game, can I bring a car? And they have to agree to it, and Joe Girardi usually does.
Good throw by Diaz, almost got Almonte. But Almonte just in ahead of the tag by Palacios. The 2-0. And there's a strike.
When a guy like Almonte comes in to pinch run, there's no signs there. Manager Joe Girardi just tells him, if you want to run, run. If you get a good jump, take it. And you know, when you sit the bench all day and you got one opportunity to get in the game and may or may not get it at bat, stolen bases, something to contribute.
The 2-1. Count 2-2.
Little sinker running away from Randy Wynn right here. Tried to pull it a little out front. Good drop on that ball right there, though.
Two. Inside, count 3-2. Wynn today fouled out to first, grounded to short, and struck out looking. First year with the Yankees, signed a 1-year deal. Spent the last several seasons with the San Francisco Giants. And coming off his worst year with the Giants last year, power numbers weren't there. Never a real home run hitter, but he admittedly had a real bad season last year. The 3-2 fouled away. Switch hitter, veteran, and he has the longest streak of any active player in the big leagues without having appeared in a postseason game. So he felt signing with the Yankees was probably his best chance to finally play in October.
Great chance to play in October, and also a great opportunity to come off the bench, be the 4th outfielder maybe, and get his at-bats in. You know, he's going to have a lot more success, I believe, this year, not having to be the man, the everyday guy. Just go in there and contribute on defense and have some good at-bats when they ask you to.
Bad base running by Almonte as he is gunned down by Palacios. You don't try to advance a base when the ball's hit in front of you. That's what Almonte did, hoping that his speed would make up for the lack of judgment, but it did not.
It's a bad read here by Almonte. Tried to be a little over aggressive. ball was hit right in front of him. He should have been able to pick up this ball in front of him and hold his ground. But nice play by the shortstop too in a 2-1 ball game. Cut down that run at third base and may save you a run later on.
Might have been safe, but Damian Beal probably wants to get out of here. Here's Ramiro Pena. And pinch runner for Wynn is Austin Crum. Pena today 1 for 3. He had that single and a stolen base in the 4th inning. Sandwiched around the single, a ground ball, a third, and a strikeout.
Great. Looks like a changeup or some kind of split he's throwing there. It's a very good pitch. Seems to have the Yankee hitters off balance and out front. Ball's just dropping out of the zone when it gets towards home plate. There's Reggie.
The 0-2 pitch out. That's one of the neat things about any player on this Yankee team. There are so many people that have done it in big spots that are just around you. You know, you walk around a corner in the clubhouse, you walk into Yogi Berra, and there's Ron Guidry and Goose Gossage and Greg Nettles and Tino Martinez and Reggie Jackson. So it's a valuable asset if you use it the right way.
It is. When I played here as well, I did the same thing. You know, the guys were here, Reggie Jackson or whoever may be here, I'd go talk to them and ask them questions about, you know, certain things or maybe what happened in the game that day, and the players love it. And, you know, I'm sure A.J. Burnett right there, I'm sure Reggie's giving him, you know, a lot of props for his outing today, how well he pitched, and, you know, this year just relax and do your job. And that means a lot to a guy like A.J. Burnett or to a guy like Curtis Granderson.
Pena pops it up. Palacios will put it away for the final out of the 8th. No runs a hit, no errors, and 1 man left. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Reggie Jackson says the Yankees are up 2-1.
Thanks to Buick's quiet tuning process and the efficiency of our standard V6 engine, this moment of solitude can be brought to you for up to 460 uninterrupted highway miles, courtesy of the all-new Buick LaCrosse. It's the new class of world class.
Now lease a 2010 Buick LaCrosse CX for just $359 per month. See dealer for details. See your local Buick dealer.
The 2009 New York Yankees are world champions.
Come out to Yankee Stadium in 2010 to see the 27-time world champion New York Yankees in action. Don't miss Magnetic Schedule Night on Friday, April 16th, when the Yankees take on the Rangers. All fans in attendance will receive a 2010 Yankees Magnetic Schedule, courtesy of AT&T. In 2010, come to Yankee Stadium, the home of champions.
Hey, this says Verizon Fios customers are switching back to cable.
That's what it says.
But that's not true. You know, you wouldn't have to do stuff like this if you had better customer satisfaction ratings.
Dude, if we had better ratings, we wouldn't need to do stuff like this.
That's my point.
That is my point.
It's the same point.
Get out of my brain.
With 4 times more very satisfied customers than Cablevision, it's no wonder over 98% of Verizon Fios customers stick with Fios. This is beyond cable. This is Fios.
When we built our first hybrid, YouTube didn't exist, and Facebook was still run out of a dorm room. When we built our first hybrid, more people had landlines than cell phones, and gas was $1.75 a gallon. And now, while other luxury car makers are building their first hybrids, Lexus hybrids have traveled 5.5 billion miles. And that's quite a head start.
Well, the Yankees right at this point do not have a right fielder. They will have one in a moment. John Weber is heading out there. A cute scene, the Yankees that have been taken out of the game were all standing before they went into the clubhouse down the right field line. They were signaling to the dugout. We don't have a right fielder. They're all pointing to right. So John Weber making his way out there. So the Yankees have several changes, and we'll get to them as we move along in the inning. But Weber is in right. And there are the players all of a sudden becoming Joe Girardi's right-hand man. Right field. And they would not go into the clubhouse. And, oh, okay, you got it? And Brett Gardner says the job well done. New pitcher is Chan-Ho Park. And he faces Austin Jackson. Chan-Ho Park might have the coolest nickname I've ever heard. His nickname is Chop. Chan, H-O, Park, Chop.
That is a cool nickname.
You know who told me that? And this is true. Reggie Jackson. He said, I asked him, do you have a nickname? And he said, yeah, Chop. And you go, what do you mean? And they explained it. It makes perfect sense. See? Take the hand off and then the arc off. Chop. Played against the Yankees last year in the World Series for the Phillies. Kind of miscalculated the market, turned down the Phillies' initial offer. They went in another direction and was very interested in joining the Yankees. And he could be a valuable member of the bullpen. Also has started in his career. Has good stuff. And the interesting thing, Tino, and you see this a lot sometimes, is that he throws harder when he pitches out of the bullpen than he does as a starter. He'll have like 3 or 4 miles per hour more as a reliever than he does when he starts.
Yeah, because he knows he has to go maybe an inning or two. But the good thing about him is he uses his fastball. It does everything. He sinks it, he cuts it, he throws his curveball on the inner half, the outer half. His ball moves everywhere, and he's not afraid to come in and out to right-handers and left-handers with all of his pitches. So what a great asset, a great signing by the Yankees.
Don Kelly takes a pitch low.
It's kind of like Jabba Chamberlain. When Jabba's setup man comes out of the bullpen, he's throwing 96 to 98. You let it all hang out for an inning or two. As opposed to starting, you know you got to pace yourself 5 or 6 innings. And
as a starter, 7.29 last year with the Phillies and a high batting average against. But then look at the difference as a reliever. 38 games, 2.52. That's a good reliever ERA and 231 batting average against. That one is served in the left center field. It's going to be a base hit. Cutting over is Abraham Almonte. He's going to fire to second, and Kelly is in there with a double. Kelly runs well.
Good swing right here by Kelly. Looks like a change-up or some kind of a little change on the outer half there. Stays on the ball real well. Doesn't try to pull it, goes the other way with it. And that double was made right on the box. First couple steps, he was hustling, knowing he had to get 2, and nice throw by Almonte.
Big man picks him up and puts him down in a hurry. And that's Michael Rocket at the plate. Runner at second base. Yankees leading 2-1.
Yes, I believe that's that extra padded helmet that Cervelli's wearing now, and I believe that all the minor leaguers have to wear that this season. So I'm sure this guy got called up maybe for today's game and wearing the helmet they wear down there.
And also in the minor leagues, you have to wear the double flap. So it really covers you. In the major leagues, they can't get the Players Association to agree that everybody has to wear the double flap. But if you're doing it in the minor leagues, you're more apt to do it once you come up to the big leagues. But that is one of the bigger helmets that absorbs more of the blow. We like to call it the Gazoo helmet, and Francisco Cervelli uses it.
Not a bad idea. When I played AAA ball, minor league ball, I wore the double flaps too. And when you get to the big leagues and you get to wear that one flap helmet, you know, it's pretty cool. And you're wearing that big league helmet, but yeah, there's a lot more padding and protection in the double flap helmet.
You have to wonder, though, I mean, if you're a one-way hitter, you're not a switch hitter, well, what does the other flap do for you anyway? I guess if a left-handed batter, at least your head would be covered facing when you run, or if you're at first base, because your left ear would be open. It's the only thing I could think of, because you're never going to turn that way into a ball, are you, Tino?
Well, also, if you're a right-handed hitter and you dive back into first base on a pickoff or second base, your right ear is exposed.
Same mistake that the Yankees made and the same result. Oh, the ball is dropped. The ball was dropped by Brendan Laird, and that cost the Yankees the put out at third. So Don Kelly makes that same base running mistake that Almonte had made, running with the ball hit in front of him. Tina, you think they're just being overly aggressive, or are they misreading the ball?
I think they're just being overly aggressive. Normally during the season you wouldn't make that, you wouldn't do that. Nice play by Pena there, though. Laird thought he might have had it long enough for the tag, but just popped out at the end. They're being a little overly aggressive on the base pass, and sometimes the young guys, they get in the game, they want to make something happen, and Almonte did it. Obviously now Don Kelly does it as well.
Third base coach Gene Lamont, one-time Major League manager, now the top lieutenant for Jim Leyland.
The idea of staying on second base in that situation is it's 2 outs, man on second base. It still scores you. This is a hard hit ball somewhere, so you don't want the guy taking the chance going to third.
Jeff Larish has had a garish spring training, 343, a home run and 7 ribbies. This could be a double play. There's one. On to first, it's a double play. Chan-Ho Park got just what he needed, and the Yankees turned the 4-6-3 nicely to get him out of trouble. No runs a hit, no errors, and one man left on base. Russo to Pena, over to Winfrey, end of the inning.
Leadership isn't given, it's earned. Now Ford quality is unsurpassed by Honda and Toyota. And more people are realizing why Ford Edge is raising the bar. Now, during our leadership sales drive, you can get 0% financing plus $2,000 cash back. That's both 0% and $2,000 cash. Plus, drive past gas stations faster with 265 horsepower and 25 miles per gallon. Or you can lease for only $259 a month. Ford Edge, unbelievable quality, incredible deal at your Tri-State Ford dealer.
It's the first time you're letting your daughter shop on her own. So here's your moment of truth, Mom. Which 3G network would you trust to run apps like Family Locator when it matters most? When you want your 3G network to work, you want Verizon. Upgrade your family now and get an LG Envy Touch, or get the Samsung Alias for just $29.99, plus add a line for just $9.99. But hurry, offer ends March 31st. Families can connect for less at Verizon.
It's one of the best mid-size sports sedans in the world. If it's not, there are over 50 international awards we'd better give back. The Jaguar XF, the critically acclaimed result of a very different way of thinking.
Lease a 2010 XF for $599 at your tri-state area Jaguar dealer.
The Sunday Daily News is celebrating modern Yankee heroes with great commemorative magazines. Each Sunday, get a big, full-color magazine of a Yankee hero, packed with extraordinary action shots, career highlights, and stats, plus a player poster. This Sunday, get Georgie, Jorge Posada. Yours free only in the Sunday Daily News.
Well, let's take a look right now at the American Airlines upcoming schedule. Tomorrow's game on Yes against the Tigers, a 1 o'clock start. Please spend part of your Sunday with us. Then Tuesday, it's a night game on Yes against the Blue Jays. Then Wednesday against the Twins at 1. And then Friday against the Orioles, also at 1. That's the upcoming schedule on Yes for the Yankees. Kevin Russo is going to lead off against a new Tiger pitcher, their fifth pitcher, Josh Rainwater. Yankees holding on to a 2-1 ninth. And a strike to Russo. Now, a classic sign of the spring is that the left fielder and the center fielder for the Tigers both wear number 32. And one of the number 32s is going to try to catch this. Kelly back, and he'll make the catch as the other 32, Luis Castillo, takes a long look. And you might wonder why that happens. Well, there are minor leaguers that come over to finish up games, and they have the same number, but 32 and 32 playing left and center. There it is right there. Pair of 32s.
One guy's probably in the AA roster, and one's in the AAA roster. And since they have the names on the back of their jerseys, they have to keep it, I guess, for this game as well.
Laird, high fly ball down the left field line. Kelly giving chase into the corner on the track. Nice running catch. Well, you can see he's an athlete. Big guy, runs really well.
Smooth, nice and smooth. Ball's hit high left field. In the sun a little bit. Nice jump by Don Kelly. Gives himself plenty of time. Find the wall, find where he's at, make the catch. Nice job by Chan Ho Park last inning, getting himself into a little bit of a jam and finding a way out with the 4-6-3 double play to end the inning. Another nice outing for him. He's had a very nice spring.
There's John Weber, who's also had a great spring. One of those guys that it's kind of a tweener. He's not quite AAA, never been up in the big leagues. And, you know, not very likely he's going to make this team, but he continues to hit.
You're right, Michael. Not likely to make this team, but he has had a very good spring, good at bats. He just keeps getting hits when they put him in there, and he's opened some eyes. And you never know down the stretch here if somebody goes down and gives him a chance to maybe get called up for a period of time. If not, maybe a September call-up.
You know, that's exactly what they had to think, Tino. Even if you don't figure into the numbers game to make the 25-man, there are injuries. And if you've impressed somebody in spring training, well, who should we call up? Well, you're going to think maybe John Weber. Here's David Winfrey, and a strike from Rainwater.
I mean, really, that's about all you could accomplish in spring training when you're in that situation is just, hey, just make the most of your opportunity, try to get some hits, play aggressive, and see what happens.
And that one is through for a base hit. So Winfrey with a single, and the Yankees with runners on first and second, 2 outs.
Fastball running back over the plate. Winfrey does a good job staying on the ball and using the middle of the plate. Got a little help there from Palacios.
Now here's P.J. Pelletieri pinch hitting for Jorge Posada. Swing and a miss.
Jorge Posada had a very nice day today as well. Some good at bats. Caught 7 full innings, and good day to see where he's at. Nice job with A.J. Burnett, handling A.J. Burnett all day. It's one thing about spring training, Michael, when you get going early on and you play 3 or 4 innings, get a couple at bats. Later on it goes when you got to play 7 innings for the first time or 8 innings. You want to see how you feel. You look probably a little more sore tomorrow, but you want to get back in shape to play all 9 innings.
Grounded to third and tucks up there by Lugic, and that'll do it. Here in the ninth, no runs, 2 hits, no errors, and 2 men left on base. Last licks coming up for the Tigers. Yankees lead 2-1.
The new 2010 Elantra should make you think Hyundai, but act now. Think class-leading interior space, Hyundai Assurance, and America's best warranty. Think efficiency. The Elantra gets 35 miles per gallon. From Hyundai, America's most fuel-efficient automaker. Think savings. Lease the Elantra for just $159 a month. Don't just think about it. Act now at your Hyundai dealer. For a short time, lease the 2010 Hyundai Elantra for just $159 a month.
The 2009 New York Yankees are world champions.
Make plans for the 2010 season and host your group in a Yankee Stadium suite. Suites are perfect for entertaining family, friends, and business associates. Sizes range from 12 to 74 guests, and all suites feature all-inclusive food and non-alcoholic beverage packages. For more information, call 646-977-8900 or visit yankees.com/suites.
With Capital One Bank's free checking with rewards, me and the lads earn rewards just for everyday banking, like getting money from the drive-thru.
This is 20 I owe you.
And taking out cash at the bank.
Dad, what about my allowance?
We earn rewards just for using our debit cards.
Overnight?
You got it. Whoa.
Our business expenses earn us rewards too.
Thanks for your business.
It's free checking with rewards at Capital One Bank.
What's in your wallet? Let me do the talking.
I've been told to desire a red Italian sports car.
I've been told beige and predictable fit my lifestyle.
We've been told hollow status symbols are the goal.
I've been told it captures my essence.
Break the spell at your local Audi dealer today.
Well, after 2 years of the dance of seduction of Jabba as a starter, he is a reliever again. He lost the battle for the 5th starter spot to Phil Hughes. And before the game, I asked him if he was disappointed.
You know, not really, and I mean, I guess yes and no. But, you know, I would be more disappointed if I know I didn't give everything I got for this team and for myself. And, you know, I gave everything I got, you know, day in and day out. And, you know, Phil just did a great job, and he earned it. And, you know, now I got to embrace the role that I'm in now and take with it and do the things I need to do to help this team win.
Now, I asked Joe Girardi before the game as well, Tino, is this going to be a flip-flop thing? Would he go back into the rotation? He said, that doesn't mean he's not going to be a starter. He said, but he will not start this year. He's going to be a reliever this whole season. And the Yankees made the call, and they felt that Phil Hughes was better as a starter than Jabba.
Yeah, and that's the right call. Joe said that it has to be maybe an injury early in the season to someone for him to start, but once the season gets going, he wants it to be too hard to build Jabba back up to a starter, so let him embrace the role of a setup man now and be aggressive with it and have a great year and go from there.
Ryan Rayburn will face Jabba Chamberlain, who will try to close this one out. Good fastball there. Now, here's what I don't understand about the move. Now, I know that Phil Hughes outpitched Jabba. I get that. And you can't say that the Yankees wasted the last 2 years doing what they did with Jabba because they won a world championship in the deal. So they didn't waste anything per se. But I always thought you'd have to have Jabba be the starter this year because for 2 years, you've been working him with training wheels, trying to get him to this role, limiting him in innings, limiting him in pitch count. This is the year, Tino, when he could finally give you 200 innings. Aren't you curious about what he could give you? That's my only point about this. Why wouldn't you want him in the rotation to see what he could do without training wheels?
I guess from starting last season and doing what he did, and the Yankees felt that Phil Hughes could give them more innings, and I think that's the key in the 5th spot is getting all the innings you can possibly get out of that guy, and you know, hopefully getting a lot of wins too. But as a decision they made, I think with Phil, you know, establishing his changeup now, they felt he can go further in games, and Jabba would be more aggressive with his 2 pitches he has, 2 very good pitches, setting up Mariano and you know, maybe even closing a few games this year for the Yankees.
Now, another negative in this move, and it's a possible negative, is that Phil Hughes is not a 200-inning starter because last year he threw 110. And usually the Yankees don't like to increase you by more than 40 or 50. So let's say they go a little bit beyond that and they get him up to 170. Well, he's not a full-fledged starter either. And then they're going to get into the same thing. But maybe they went to school on how Jabba was expanded and stretched out, and maybe they'll do it with Phil a little bit differently. But they've got to handle that a little bit differently as Rayburn with a pinch hit single against Jabba to start up the bottom of the ninth.
But there's also a lot of days during the season when there's an off day, and you may skip your 5th starter here and there to save Phil Hughes his innings and get CC Sabathia what he needs. And when you get down to it, the Yankees are really thinking about October, getting to October, and having the best possible team in the playoffs. And when that time comes, you'll probably have Phil Hughes both and Jabba Chamberlain back in the bullpen, and which will make them even more, much more tougher team down the stretch there.
Here's Brent DeLugac.
Once they acquired Javier Vasquez this offseason, it started changing the perspective of what may happen.
That could be 2. There's one. On to first. It's a double play. Around the horn, 5-4-3 double play. And the Yankees 1 out away from a Saturday afternoon victory.
Nice play here by Brandon Laird. Catches the short stop there, gets rid of it quick. Catches the short hop there, gets rid of it quickly. Enables Kevin Russo to make the turn. Made a tough play look easy.
Down to the final out, and Chamberlain will try to get Robinson Diaz. Well, Job has said all the right things, and you heard Joe Girardi when we spoke to him in the bottom of the 4th inning. It's taken a couple of days for people to get over the disappointment, and the guy who really lost out on the deal was Chad Godin, who got released. Now they have to decide what they're going to do with Sergio Mitre, and Alfredo Aceva, of course, will go to the bullpen, where last year he was 10-1, so he's so valuable out there. I think that played against him because he pitched very well this spring.
He pitched very well. Like Jabba said, Phil had a great spring and earned the job right now, but I'm sure a lot of other teams out there in the league are thinking, not very happy having Jabba Chamberlain back in the bullpen, because I think he's so good there, and he can pitch 1-2 innings if need be, and just makes that bullpen a lot deeper and stronger than they were last year.
And there is a base hit off the glove of a diving Pena into left field as the Tigers keep the game alive. Another big question that the Yankees have to have with putting Job in the bullpen is Jabba the same pitcher as he was when Joe Torre was the manager in 2007, when he came out of the bullpen and electrified New York 98, 99, 100 miles an hour. We didn't see that with him as a starter, and we certainly didn't see it even when he went into the bullpen as a reliever in the postseason. Are those days over, or does he jack it up and really pull back and try for something extra with just 1 inning on the boards each night?
Well, that's a good question, and I think that's going to be answered obviously when the season starts, but I got to believe that he is disappointed, whether he admits it or not. He wanted that 5th starting spot, but when you come out of the bullpen in Yankee Stadium with that crowd, and the fans are going to support him, be on him, and they're going to want him to do well, and he's going to want to go out there and strike guys out and have a great inning or a great outing, whatever it may be that day.
Count 1-1. Now, Jabba's numbers were not that great this spring, but again, you have to read inside the numbers too. His first 2 starts, he was coming off a battle with the flu where he lost anywhere from 10 to 15 pounds. First time he pitched, he did not pitch well. Took the ball, and once you take the ball, you really can't have an excuse. But he was sent home a couple of days in a row battling a flu bug.
And you're right, Michael, not to make excuses there, but that may have set him back. It may have set him back that start. It may have set him back the next start, because your legs aren't quite as strong as they should be when you're coming off the flu, and probably throwing up and you're weak, and when you come back you don't feel as good as you did when you first got to spring training. So it sets you back a little bit, but he took it like a man, and he's going to, like he said, go out and do the best he can in the bullpen and help the team win.
And Joe Girardi has not come out and say he's definitely the 8th inning guy. We all assume that he will be, but David Robertson is battling for that. Chano Park might pitch some 8th innings as well. The Yankees have a pretty deep bullpen, so they can go a lot of ways. He wants him to go earn the 8th inning spot, but he said he is not sending him down to the minor leagues to be a starter. Count 3-2. Jabba throwing 93 miles an hour there with that fastball. So a full count, and Gerald Laird, or should I say, Robinson Diaz at first base is going to go with the 3-2 count and 2 outs. There he goes. The pitch is swung on and missed, and the Yankees win the game 2-1. So Jabba, who gets the bullpen roll, comes in and nails down a save as the Yankees win this one 2-1.
Good slider here by Jabba. Starts up and out of the zone, kind of hanging, but just finds his way back down the strike zone, and not a bad pitch.
So 2-1, the Yankees beat the Tigers on the Saturday afternoon at Joker Marchand Stadium. And let's take a look now at the play of this game, which is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
This is Marcus Tim's home run. Fastball right down the middle. Put a good swing on it. Put the Yankees out front. Good swing, Marcus Tim's and the Yankees. Good win.
Good win, good pitching by A.J. Burnett as well. Yankee staff did a good job in this one. Burnett, Robertson, Chan-Ho Park, and Jabba Chamberlain. And a crowd of 10,219, the biggest ever in the history of this ballpark, which opened up in 1966. So there you have it, 2-9-0, beating 1-6-0. Please join us again tomorrow for Yankees baseball as the Bombers return home to George M. Steinbrenner Field in Tampa, Florida, to face these very same Detroit Tigers. Now our coverage will begin at 1 p.m. on the YES Network. Special thanks go out to Troy Benjamin, John Moore, Woody Fryman, and Mr. John Filippelli. Once again, our final score from Joker Marchand Stadium, the Yankees 2 and the Tigers 1. Good game here on a Saturday on a beautiful day. We hope that you enjoyed it. For Tino Martinez, I'm Michael Kay saying see ya from Lakeland, Florida. Have a good afternoon, everybody. So long.
As long as we're winding up our doing dials, let's wind them with precision. Open our throttle to even more selection and turn that savings swagger up full tilt.